Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm John Ryder. Quarterback Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers couldn't reach a new contract before Mayfield's self-imposed deadline of the start of training camp, and the veteran says that he feels disrespected a little bit. The first overall pick in this year's draft, Raiders quarterback Fernando Mendoza says that he's fine with being patient and playing behind Kirk Cousins. Mendoza today at training camp.
I still have a long way to go. I feel more comfortable, but I am nowhere near where I need to be, especially with learning the playbook, and I still need to go a lot longer and attack the playbook harder. So I'm still ways away, but I feel like I'm more comfortable from day two, especially from day one.
The Raiders season opener is on September 13th against the Dolphins in Las Vegas. On the baseball scoreboard, they're in the 7th in Chicago. The White Sox and Yankees are scoreless. Chicago starter Sean Burke has struck out 10. Cubs and Cardinals tied at 1 in the 6th in St. Louis. Royals have a 3-0 lead in the 9th on the Twins. Kansas City starter Noah Cameron had a no-hitter broken up in the 7th, still won 8 strong. One final, Rays over the Rangers, 3-2 at the Trop.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, we close out our ESPN Radio Rank 'em series with my top 5 Super Bowl contenders. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. Presented by LouisianaSports.net. We are live today at Marucci Hitter's House on Seagan. Saints back on the practice field for day 2 of fall camp. A legend bids the New Orleans Saints farewell. Big Ten football media days wrapping up, and is Easton Royal nearing a decision? Another big-time pick is in. We'll get to all of it over the next 3 hours, but let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Breeze on 3rd and 7. It is complete for a first down to Taysom Hill. He's inside the 20, still going. The 10, the 5, to the end zone for a Saints touchdown.
It was completely expected. But it is now official, the end of an era in New Orleans. After 9 incredible seasons, Taysom Hill announcing on social media Wednesday night that he will not be back with the New Orleans Saints, something I think that was a foregone conclusion. And it's something that we've talked about it for quite literally months now. Taysom, this was after the Jets game at the end of last season, the final home game of last year. He was asked if it was his final home game as a Saint. This is what he said.
As I was driving to the stadium today, you start to think about the last 9 years and what it's meant to me and my family and the city and stuff. So I think for me personally, you just try to take it all in, we had a great experience here tonight, and I don't know what the future holds for me, but it was a special day for me and the family.
It was very reminiscent of Drew Brees leaving the field after the playoff game against the Bucs during the COVID year when they lost. And I still have the image ingrained in my brain of Drew going toward the locker room, looking back at the Dome like one last time. And everybody knew like that was it. And so we all knew that was it for Taysom when he left the Dome against the floor against the Jets. back at the end of last season. And listen, there was all throughout this offseason, everyone associated with the Saints was non-committal. I mean, in January, in the post-season wrap press conference, Mickey Loomis was asked about Taysom Hill's future. This is what he said in January.
You know, I've given him some space, so we'll touch base with him soon. But you know, it's hard to have these conversations right after the end of the season. You know, you want that emotion to go out of it, and give guys some time and space, and not feel like they're pressured to make decisions. And we've got time, so.
And then all the way up to June, when Kellen Moore, during minicamp and OTAs, was meeting with the media, the questions persisted.
Is there still a possibility to get something done with Taysom, or at this point is that door closed?
We haven't necessarily had any conversations up to this point, but you never know.
The writing was on the wall. I think we all know it. We could all see it, that was going to be it for Taysom Hill. Interestingly, Taysom did not announce his retirement, just that he is done in New Orleans after 9 seasons, which means there is literally one place where he may go still, and that's to Denver with Sean Payton, who maybe summarized Taysom Hill's career best. This was a post-game comment in 2019 when Sean Payton one of it, obviously 2021 was Peyton's last season in New Orleans, but this was a post-game comment that he made back in 2019 about Taysom Hill, and this really summarizes Taysom.
Listen, he's just a football player. I mean, I say that. He's neat to coach. He could play a number of different positions. There aren't many guys like him. First one I've ever coached like him. So while he's developing as a quarterback, I mean, there's a lot of places he's playing, and probably need to keep getting him the ball even more. He's a real good practice player. And I think that coupled with his athleticism and his love for the game, I don't know that there's anyone that enjoys playing football more than him. And that's kind of rubs off, kind of contagious on his teammates. And so when guys like him make a play, you see the bench get excited. And that quality that a player has that endears himself to other teammates, I think is very strong and important. And he's one of those players.
And he was outstanding during 8 of his 9 seasons in New Orleans. Last year, objectively, he was not. But that shouldn't take any of the shine off of what Taysom Hill during his time in New Orleans, because he was an outstanding player. Now, last year, of course, he came off the injury in 2024 when he had the gruesome knee injury where he played just 8 games. He comes back a season ago. He's 34 years old. He's coming off of a devastating knee injury. And Sean Payton, Pete Carmichael, the offense that had been built, that he was a central figure in for most of the decade, was no longer there. It was now Kellen Moore's offense, and it was going to be run however Kellen Moore wanted to run it. And Kellen Moore isn't the one that was the brainchild behind the Taysom Hill role. So I get asked often, well, who's going to be the next Taysom Hill? And the answer is nobody. Quite literally, the answer is nobody. There isn't going to be another Taysom Hill. There's a reason nobody else in the NFL has a Taysom Hill, because he is a one of one. He was a unique figure, and I mean that in the most literal way. Unique means one, not rare, unique. There's nobody else in the NFL. There's no other team that has a player like Taysom that does all of those things to the effectiveness and to the degree that Taysom Hill did for all those years. And Kellen Moore didn't know what to do with it. You had an aging player coming off of injury and was forced in an offense where it didn't fit, and it showed. He ran for just 114 yards last season as a pass catcher. Taysom Hill a season ago had just 91 receiving yards. He was just a shell of what he was. So contractually, it was obvious his contract was up. He wasn't going to be back. But I know I said this at the end of last football season, and I'm going to say it again. I believe Taysom Hill will be a New Orleans Saint Hall of Famer. That's not even a question. Like, Taysom Hill will be in the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame, and should be. It's totally justified. But I believe Taysom Hill should also be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, hold on. Hear me out, okay? If you remember this convo when the season ended, I'm going to reiterate my points, but I want you to hear me out. Taysom Hill is not a Hall of Fame quarterback. Taysom Hill is not a Hall of Fame running back. He is not a Hall of Fame receiver. He is not a Hall of Fame tight end. He is not a Hall of Fame special teams player. He is none of those things. But nobody in the history of the NFL has done all of those things to the degree that Taysom Hill has. The only comp, literally, in the history of the NFL is Frank Gifford. Frank Gifford and Taysom Hill are the only players in NFL history to rush for at least 25 touchdowns, throw for at least 10 touchdowns, and catch at least 10 touchdowns. That's it. The only two in the history of the NFL. Frank Gifford played the 1950s, 70 years ago, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Now, if I had a vote, Taysom Hill would not be a Hall of Famer. Like, I would not have Taysom Hill on my Hall of Fame ballot. However, the Hall of Fame Selection Committee has set a precedent whereby specialists do get in. I just mentioned Frank Gifford. Ray Guy is the lone punter in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There are 5 place kickers in the Hall of Fame, although a guy like George Blanda was a two-way player, not just a place kicker. But the one that really is the most comparative is Devin Hester. Devin Hester is not a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Devin Hester was a very average wide receiver in the NFL. Devin Hester went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame because for a decade, he was the best kick returner in the game, and quite honestly, the best kick returner that has ever played the game. As a receiver, Devin Hester caught 3,300 yards in his 255 receptions for 3,311 yards. That's it. 16 touchdown receptions. But he set the NFL record for return touchdowns. And because he was a great specialist, he got in the Hall of Fame. So I look at Taysom Hill through that prism. If you had a spot for Devin Hester, then there should be a spot for Taysom Hill because he did a thing that quite literally nobody else has done at the level he's done it. And the only one close is in the Hall of Fame in Frank Gifford. So I don't think that's going to happen for Taysom Hill, but it is something that should absolutely be considered with Devin Hester as the comparison, as the comp. Now, I also want to say that Taysom Hill, he exhibited such an incredible amount of humility because that's a guy who wanted to play quarterback, who saw himself as a quarterback. But it was increasingly obvious as his career went on, he was never going to be an NFL quarterback. I fought that battle with many of you over and over and over throughout the years when the Saints kept toying with the idea of making him a quarterback, which was obviously never going to happen. But instead of doing what Tim Tebow did, which is say, I'm going to be a quarterback and that's it, Taysom Hill was willing to play this role that Sean Payton dreamed up for him, and it turned him into a guy who had a 9-year career in New Orleans and is beloved in the city and changed his life. You heard him say it. That humility and willingness to do whatever the team needed him to do to win is what won over fans and what helped the Saints be an incredible team during that run, one of the winningest teams in the NFL during that stretch in 2017 through 2020. And Taysom Hill was a massive part of that. You know, I think like Tim Tebow could have been that guy if he was willing to be a guy that covered kicks and blocked punts and caught passes and ran the ball out of the I formation or as an H-back. Like, he could have been that guy, but he only ever wanted to be a quarterback and wasn't going to do anything else. Taysom Hill showed the humility to say, I'll do whatever we need to do to win. And he did it over and over and over again. It's a day that we knew was coming, but it is now official. Taysom Hill's time in New Orleans is done. And for all of us, he's one of the greatest Saints we've ever seen. And there has never been one like him before, and very likely will never be another like him again. Congrats on an amazing run, Taysom Hill. 9 years in New Orleans. His time as a Saint is done. All right, it is after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. I do want to get to Saints camp from Thursday, day 2 of camp. We're going to get into that as we move through. Ross Jackson will be here in about 45 minutes. He was out there. He'll give us his recap today. But it was appropriate, I thought, that we start with Taysom Hill. It's just appropriate to give him that space and the respect that he deserves for the time that he spent here in New Orleans and the job that he did. All right, we're here at Marucci Hitter's House. If you're looking for a deal on cleats, turfs, or training shoes, right now at Hitter's House, we got a huge footwear sale going on. Footwear is just $50. What? If you need cleats, turfs, training footwear, now is the time to save. So come see us at Hitter's House, Baton Rouge, right here in Segan Lane. Check out the selection. Grab your next pair of shoes before they're gone. $50 footwear only at Hitter's House. We're going to knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch from the black and gold to the purple and gold. Very interesting is LSU is now 6 days away from hitting the practice field for the first time. Pro Football Focus highlighted a couple of offensive skill guys, and it's not exactly who you think that would normally be highlighted. We'll get to that here as we continue. It is a Thursday edition of AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
If you want to feel your best, our friends over at Goodwood can help. It's easy. Schedule an appointment. Go do your blood lab draw. They're going to take a couple of vials of blood. They're going to send it off to the lab. They're going to get your hormone levels. And based on that, they can customize a treatment plan for you. Maybe it's hormone replacement therapy. Maybe peptide therapy is what you need. Our friends over at Goodwood can help. Peptides are amazing. We talk about it all the time. I've known about and taken peptides for years now for so many different things. If it's BPC 157 for muscle and tissue repair, NAD Plus is something I take every single day. It's for cellular optimization and energy levels. If it's something like growth hormone peptides, these stimulate your body's natural production of growth hormones to help you sleep better at night, build muscle, burn fat, have more energy. It's Goodwood. YourGoodwood.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day.
Let's go!
But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane...
After further review with Matt Moscona.
It was looking that way. I haven't gotten the finalized. I know they're going second opinion and all that stuff right now, but obviously didn't look great based off the initial results.
That was Kellen Moore when he was asked to confirm Brian Brzez's torn ACL. That's the report from me and Rappaport. Our buddy Nick Underhill over at New Orleans Football had the knee injury first. It was Rappaport who reported ACL. But Moore was asked today after practice day 2 the impact of losing Brzee.
Yeah, it's tough. Brian, I thought, played some really good football last year and had a great offseason. It's a bummer for him. At the same time, there's going to be some opportunities for some other guys that they just got to be ready to rock and roll, and that's what all training camp's about.
The rarely ever expansive Kellen Moore with his comments. But we'll start to see as they're hitting the practice field more how those rotations go when they get into preseason games. Keeping an eye. I mean, look, I'll be fascinated now to see. Nose tackle was one of the spots that we were really highlighting in large part because Devon Gottschall is one of the veterans that we thought might have his job sort of in jeopardy because of Brzee and Vernon Broughton coming off of injury and Christian Miller coming in. Well, now with Brzee out, I mean, we're still watching that position, but for a completely different reason. So Ross Jackson will be here in 40 minutes, so we'll get his takeaway there and how it looked today on the defensive line. Look, until they put the pads on, it's really hard to tell, but we'll get some reaction from Ross Jackson coming up in just a little bit. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're at Marucci Hitter's house right on Segan Lane near Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. Thanks for being here with us. The LSU Tigers will hit the practice field for the first time in fall camp on Wednesday. And it's going to be fascinating to see the offense function with Sam Leavitt. Now, how much they let us see, don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, obviously, as we move throughout. But what's maybe the most interesting part about watching the LSU offense is something we've talked about a lot here, which is they didn't go after a top-tier portal target at receiver or as a pass catcher. Like, Trey'Dez Green is undeniably the most physically gifted pass catcher they have. That's not even a question. The top receiver they got, as far as portal rankings and all that stuff, was Jace Brown from Kansas State. And they added 9 receivers. But it's so fascinating because Pro Football Focus put out their top returning players at each position in the SEC for this year. Now, keep in mind, not necessarily players that played in the SEC a year ago, so transfers count from where they were at their previous spot. But the top-graded Pro Football Focus. Now, this is important to note because we talk about it all the time. I am not someone who really cares very much about lists. I don't care about lists. I don't want your top 10 this, your bottom 10 that, your favorite this, your worst that, your Mount Rushmore that. I think that's lazy summertime topics. Pro Football Focus is different because we're talking about objective data. Now, you can shoot. This isn't Pro Football Focus's opinion of who the top receivers, top tight ends are returning in the SEC. These are the guys who were the highest graded players at their positions a year ago coming back for this season. So that's what we're talking about here. And I always say about Pro Football Focus, it is a metric. It's not the metric. It's just something to consider. It's those scouts, those analysts watching the game, assigning a grade, and putting out the metric. It may fall in line with what you see on the eye test. It may fall in line with or differ from what the coaches see. It's just something to consider. But what surprised me is when I looked at the top 10, the Pro Football Focus top 10 receivers returning in the SEC this year, I thought if an LSU receiver was on the list, it would probably be Jace Brown. Because Jace Brown was, again, coming from Kansas State. He's a senior. He's been a contributing player for 3 years there in Manhattan, Kansas. And that's a guy that we all thought would be the highest. He was the highest rated receiver coming in. Or maybe, my apologies. Maybe a guy like Trey Wilson from Florida, former 5-star. Not the case. There were 2 LSU receivers on the list, and Jace Brown is one of them. Jace Brown is the 6th highest rated receiver returning in the Southeastern Conference. So again, he played in the Big 12 last year at Kansas State, but 10 is Shane Carr at Kentucky, 9 is Caden Lee at Missouri, who was at Ole Miss, 8 is Junior Sherrill from Vanderbilt, 7 is Keyshawn Singleton at Auburn, 6 Jace Brown, 7 is Donovan Olagbode at Missouri, 3 is Trell Harris at Oklahoma, 2 is Mario Craver at A&M, and the number 1 highest graded receiver in the SEC returning, Jackson Harris from Hawaii. Do you remember Jackson Harris was the first portal addition? Remember when the portal opened and we were all expecting just this flood of commitments and like a week passes and nobody had committed? And everyone's going, wait, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Portal King, that was supposed to be this onslaught. January 2nd was supposed to be huge. And then nothing happened for like a week. And the first guy to sign was Jackson Harris, the receiver out of Hawaii. And we're all kind of like, oh, that's the guy? Highest graded Pro Football Focus receiver returning to an SEC team this year, Jackson Harris out of Hawaii. You know what I thought of immediately when I saw that today? Jackson Harris 1, Jace Brown 6. Last week, we were at SEC Football Media Days in Tampa, and Brooks Austin visited with us. I got such great feedback from that conversation from so many of you, so thank you for that. But Brooks Austin played Division II college football, and his thing now is he breaks down film on his YouTube channel. It's called The Film Guy. If you want to go look him up on YouTube, sub up to his channel. Does a great job. The Film Guy, Brooks Austin. And he sat down with us, and we talked a ton about Kiffin, his offense, all this sort of stuff. This is what Brooks said last week on AFR about Kiffin and his receivers.
That dude's got something figured out at wide receiver. He takes guys that you look at and you're like, wait a minute. You took a 400-yard wide receiver from Wake Forest? That was Deuce Alexander last year. I thought Deuce Alexander was their second or third best wide receiver. So this guy's got some type of sauce when it comes to identifying the skill sets that best fit what we do on offense. So, yeah, we grab a kid from Hawaii. We grab old buddy from Florida that's constantly banged up, or at least was it, with Eugene Wilson. Trey Wilson. That dude's elite at the start and stop, right? And then the kid from Hawaii is like a 6'3" X-body type that can probably get vertical and stop.
Jackson Harris.
Yeah, to do a lot of this stuff that they do sometimes in the RPO game as well. They got some type of sauce when it comes to identifying wide receivers that might not look like Jeremiah Smith, but they work for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would never, ever just be a namesake guy with Lane Kiffin wide receivers.
You know what I thought of immediately? I thought of Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints. They never invested heavily at receiver. They didn't do it. They knew a skill set, a dynamic, a body type, or whatever that they were looking for and plugged it into that offense with Drew Brees. At the time, the greatest offense in NFL history was the 2011 Saints. That's not hyperbole. They literally put up more yards than any team in the history of the NFL in 2011. Here were your leading pass catchers. Jimmy Graham, 1,310 yards. Jimmy Graham was a guy who played basketball, played 1 year of football at Miami, and they were like, I know what to do with that, and they turned him into an All-Pro. Marcus Colston, 1,143 yards. Tight end who was a receiver at a tight end at Hofstra, 7th-round pick. They turn him into a receiver, becomes the greatest receiver in Saints history. Darren Sproles, a 5'0" running back, was your third leading receiver with 710 yards. Lance Moore, 5'10", undrafted out of Toledo, was your fourth leading receiver on that team. You get the point, like what I'm talking about here? It was Sean Payton knew what he was looking for in that offense among his pass catchers. You know, Robert Meacham was on that team. Devery Henderson was older in his career. At that point, those were guys who were high draft picks, but they were overshadowed by the other guys. You know, those were guys, Devery and Meacham, that were drafted by previous. I guess Meacham was drafted during by Sean Payton, but Devery was inherited. So anyway, all that to say, that's kind of how I look at what Lane Kiffin has done at receiver. He's not going to go spend $3 million on Cam Coleman. He's going to find Jackson Harris. He's going to find Trey Wilson. He's going to find, these guys, Malik Elzy from Illinois, Roman Mothershed from Troy, all these dudes with the skill set that fits what they want to do, and they flourish. A year ago, Ole Miss in that offense had one receiver drafted. It was Deshaun Stribling. That's it. One receiver drafted off last year's team, which is stunning to think. But they were in the college football playoff semifinal and went 11-1 in one of the best offenses in college football because they got guys that knew what they wanted to do. And that's why you got to have confidence in this offense. I don't know if they're going to be the best offense in the country. Are they going to be a better offense than they were a year ago? Darn well should be, considering the track record. Now, it wasn't just receivers. This is the other thing that really caught me off guard. Tight ends. LSU had two tight ends. We all know Trey Des Green's going to be on there. And he was. He's the second highest graded tight end by PFF, returning at a grade of 75.0. Michael Moscona from Texas, 76.8, is just ahead of Tradez. But Lakota Dipper from Florida was 3. 4, Malachi Thomas from Pitt. And we almost forget about Malachi Thomas because we talk so much about Tradez Green. But, y'all, there were times in spring where they ran 4 tight end sets. You include Zach Race from Oregon as an H-back, and that's who I thought was going to be on the list was Zach Race. Now, he did not have an offensive statistic last year. Zach Race didn't at Oregon. But Malachi Thomas at tight end, 6'3", 242 pounds. Again, the body style, the body type that they like. He'll sit behind Tradez this year, but next year, very well, he'll make an impact this year, but next year really might be the time where he has the big kaboom opportunity. So caught just 13 passes last year at Pitt as a sophomore, but he's got 2 more seasons of eligibility. Actually, with the 5 to play 5 now, he's got 3 more years of eligibility and could very well emerge into that big-bodied pass-catching tight end. It's just validation from an objective metric that what Kiffin and Billy Glasscock and Charlie Weiss are looking for stylistically in their system. Define it. I mean, of the 4 players I just mentioned, the only one that was here last year is Tradez Green. The other 3 are all transfers, and they know what they're looking for. Tigers will hit the practice field coming up on Wednesday. Every time they let us out there, we will have camp reports for you. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here at Marucci Hitter's House. And actually, just down the street from where we are, you'll find a Hancock-Whitney branch. As a matter of fact, you can say that no matter where you are in town. Look, I've been a Hancock-Whitney customer for as long as I've had a checking account. Hancock and Whitney were independent and merged years ago, but for as long as I've had a checking account, I've been with Hancock-Whitney Bank. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. They gave us our own URL, my name, M-A-T-T, HancockWhitney.com/Matt. 222 ATMs across Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, Alabama, Florida. 180 full-service financial banking centers. So pop on in to a Hancock Whitney near you. I'm telling you, the great thing is whenever you're traveling around the Southeast, around the conference, you're generally going to bump into a Hancock Whitney branch if you need your bank nearby. Find your banker at Hancock Whitney. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're at Marucci Hitter's House on Segan. Come by and see us. Always love popping in here. They got a big-time shoe sale right now going on at Marucci Hitter's House. If it's cleats, if it's turfs, if it's cross trainers, come hang out and take advantage of this great sale today. $50 footwear here at Marucci Hitter's House. Take advantage of the great sale here in the showroom today at Marucci Hitter's House on Segan. All right, it's After Further Review, y'all. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go around the SEC when we return. And there is an update on the Protect College Sports Act, and apparently they're bumping up against the deadline today. So we'll get into all that as we continue. Stay with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR.
AFR.
You know, I love telling you about Darren James every day, and I say, if you're thinking of selling your home, call Darren James, get your home sold. This is an honest-to-goodness true story today. A coworker of mine is selling their home, and they already have a realtor. But their realtor is in a different market, and they were having trouble with comps for their home in their neighborhood here in the greater Baton Rouge area. And so my coworker said, hey, how well do you know Darren James? We already have a realtor, but do you think he'd be willing to help us with comps in this issue we're having? I said, I know Darren, and I guarantee he'll help because he's one of the greatest humans I know, and he loves helping people. Texted Darren, immediately replied, said, absolutely, it'd be my honor to help, give him my contact, connected them. They're well on their way. The point is, if you need to sell your home, you want the best, an unbelievable customer service experience, you want Darren James. 335-7666. 335-7666 for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James. I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, You can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
Literally, as I was sitting here at Marucci Hitter's house before we were coming on, maybe 20 minutes before we came on, Chef Layton over at Supper Club shot me a note. They have 7 spots remaining. So I told you this was going to sell out. If you love whiskey, they have a rare event, a rare tasting event coming up Monday. So Supper Club is closed on Monday, but they're opening just for this rare event. And walk-ups are not welcome. You have to reserve your spot because space is very limited. It's 6 courses. And Chef Layton told me it's all meat. He told me it's a rabbit dish, a Sagrera steak dish, some pork belly. Anyway, he told me it's going to be awesome. But it's 6 courses, and Preservation Distillery bourbon is going to pair each course with a different whiskey. So this is going to be awesome. And again, there's only 7 spots remaining. It's $250 a head. That includes your food, your whiskey, your tip, your tax, all in. If you're interested, call over to Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Ross Dellinger has been all over the Protect College Sports Act. Interestingly enough, Delly lives in D.C., and it just so happens that one of the formative stories around college athletics is this Protect College Sports Act, where these congressmen and women are trying to push this legislation together, and Dellinger just happens to be right there. It was interesting seeing Ross last week in Tampa. Ross and I are friends and have been for a long time, and we talk and text often, but we don't see each other living in different markets. And just we went to dinner the night we went to Burns Steakhouse. It was me and Hunt and Cobble, and Delly came with us. And just to be with him while all of this is happening, and he's getting calls from senators and congressmen and women and conference commissioners and athletic directors left and right because he's been one of the central figures of this, covering this story, talking to so many people. A lot of people are calling him trying to get information. So it's funny to see his phone ring and like some Congress person is calling Ross to get information about what's going on, or ADs anyway. But anyway, so he's done an incredible job. Well, Ross has been all over Twitter, and he's got a story updated at Yahoo. But effectively, when Wednesday night came, the SEC and the Big Ten were continuing to oppose the bill despite a delay of negotiations. And time is sort of running out. He noted, Ross did, that lawmakers have sent conferences a last and final version of the Protect College Sports Act. They did so around midnight, and revising key sections, as he notes, setting a 10 a.m. deadline for the leagues to agree. So earlier today, no more negotiations. This is all according to Ross. No more negotiations, no more back and forth, and it's unclear as of now what is going to transpire. The bill must be sent to the Senate Majority Leader today to have a chance to reach the Senate floor for a vote next week. And this is before, obviously, the session ends. And the revised bill, as he notes, I'm reading here from his Twitter, strengthens language in an attempt to close the loophole so many schools are using to circumvent the cap. That's sort of the big thing right now. So it would establish a certification process for athlete deals brokered by multimedia rights partners intended to prevent redirection of sponsor revenue. So the multimedia rights partners are the third party partners that handle a lot of the media rights for the schools. So, for example, we talked about like NILSU Max, the deal that LSU has with their multimedia rights partner that allows them to go sell the multimedia rights for LSU, but also sell endorsement deals for the student athletes. Well, a lot of schools are using that, what he's saying here, to go over the cap, and it's trying to establish a hard cap for that number. So we'll see if they're able to reach a deal, but it feels like the Protect College Sports Act, the furthest legislation has gotten in this respect of finding some type of guardrail for college football appears right now in its current form to be in a dire position. If anything breaks or happens there, we'll certainly let you know. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com. I'm not in studio, so Muse and Paul can't do it, but ARCCO. You don't know? No. You going to remember it, though. Alondra and I, we were talking about jingles that get stuck in. Tell me you're not going to be riding home tonight going ARCC. Yeah, probably so. Arco Power Systems, we have fun with that. But the bottom line is with Arco, what they do is industrial generator power. You're a business owner. You got a commercial industrial facility. Power goes out. What happens to your business? Well, Arco. Same as your home where you have a standby generator. This is turnkey. Sell, service, install, rent that industrial generator. So for your business, you need generator power. You need Arco Power Systems, and they're not just here in Baton Rouge. I mean, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio, north to Little Rock, draw a giant circle. Anywhere in that footprint, Arco serves you. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. All right, since we're on remote, Muse will take it. Here we go. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
All right, so Missouri defensive tackle Sterling Webb has been granted his TRO against the NCAA, giving him a 5th year of eligibility with the, of course, the new 5-for-5 rules. Told you about this lawsuit earlier in the week. Missouri, they have the roster spot open, NIL packages and rev share available for him. He is expected to return to Mizzou, 13 games with 8 starts a season ago. Tigers begin fall camp on Monday.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee has landed a commitment from 3-star running back Asa Barnes. Hayes Fawcett over at Rivals first to report that. Barnes chose the Vols over Arkansas, Florida State, and USC. Number 22 recruit out of the state of Tennessee. Number 36 running back in the country. The 19th commit for the Vols 2027 recruiting class.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky Athletics Director Jay Batt appeared on Kentucky Sports Radio earlier here in the week and was asked about the future of the Governor's Cup rivalry series with Louisville. Mentioned that there are no plans to cancel that series. He has had no conversations that would be in that direction. Of course, Will Stein has gone on record saying that he would like the series to move to the beginning of the year with the 9-game SEC schedule. That could prove difficult considering rivalry games normally close the season. But as long as you have the mandatory 10th, or the Power 4 mandate, you could see the Governor's Cup Series continue there in Kentucky.
Texas A&M!
And Texas A&M has announced their Operation Blackout matchup for this season. This will be the 3rd season A&M has had the blackout game under Mike Elko. It will be against Tennessee. Of course, previous ones were against LSU back in 2024, Mississippi State a year ago in Kyle Field. The game against Tennessee will be on November 14th. That's right, Texas A&M, whose colors are maroon and white, they have a blackout game. That's around the SEC.
Kool-Aid McKinstry rolled his ankle at practice today. Something I want to ask Ross Jackson about when he's here in 17 minutes from right now. We do have the report up at LouisianaSports.net. Apparently, it is a minor injury. Actually, Muse, can you play that? This was with the question asked to Kellen Moore. Again, Moore is never very forthcoming with any of his answers, but this is how it sounded.
Did anything happen with Kool-Aid? It looked like Ike was out there at the end.
Yeah, I think he just kind of rolled his ankle a little bit, so just precautionary, nothing big. So
precautionary, they're going to play it safe. You're 2 days into into training camp. There's no reason to push anybody. And if nothing else, maybe what that does is give even more of the young cornerbacks an opportunity to get more reps. It's one of the position groups that I've highlighted. I think is very important to highlight because, you lose Alontae Taylor. You're expecting Kool-Aid to step up and be that true, legit number one lockdown corner. I have my reservations of if he can be that. He's a very good cornerback, but is he a guy that can, when you go play, we went through this. We went through all of his numbers from a year ago. Like when you go play the Seahawks and there's JSN, or you go play the Bengals and there's Jamar, like when you're going against the Rams and there's Puka, and you're looking at the best receivers in the NFL, can your guy go lock down their number one? Remains to be seen. So an important training camp for Kool-Aid McKinstry, an important year for Kool-Aid entering year 3. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're here at Marucci Hitter's House, where we'll be until 6 p.m. Y'all come on by. Easy to find us right here on Segan Lane near Airline. Awesome, man. You can always come take the campus tour where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball. Such a cool place to come in. And right here in the storefront, they got a huge footwear sale going on right now. $50 footwear. What did you say? I said $50 footwear. Cleats, turfs, training footwear. Come on in. $50 footwear here at Marucci Hitter's House on Segan. We're going to knock out a quick break, come back, wrap up hour number 1 on a Thursday edition of AFR.
After Further Review.
Man, if you have ever thought of putting in a pool, call my friends over at Duplessis Pools. We've got precious few football Saturdays remaining. Precious few summer Saturdays remaining until football season starts dominating our Saturdays. But one of the things I love, living in Louisiana, it don't matter. August, sometimes into September, sometimes early October. You're still swimming because it's hot. And so much fun, to have the outdoor TV rolling. You're in your pool with your favorite beverage, watching a game from the pool. Awesome. So if you've ever thought of that, if you've ever dreamed of putting in a pool, you need Duplessis Pools. A top 50 pool builder in America, as voted by Pool & Spa Magazine, 2 years in a row, the only pool builder in Louisiana to receive that designation, Duplessis Pools. So start online today, duplessispools.com, duplessispools.com. They're the best. It's duplessispools.com.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season.
And we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor of the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Southern Classic Chicken, we take pride in serving the freshest, seasoned, and marinated hand-breaded fried chicken. Drive through today and pick up a family box or one of our classic combos and enjoy a true Southern Classic. Order online and download our loyalty app to start earning those crispy and juicy rewards. Loyalty matters.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Wrapping up hour number one here from Marucci Hitter's House. Also wrapping up today is Big Ten Media Days. Our buddy Adam Rittenberg will be here in hour number three, covers the Big Ten and college football for ESPN. We're looking forward to that conversation. It's sort of just to put a button on all of Big Ten Media Days. But Ryan Day, of course, the Ohio State coach, anytime the biggest voices in the sport weigh in on the biggest issues in the sport, it's going to be newsworthy and noteworthy. Like, with respect, if the head coach at Toledo talks about revenue share, it's not generally going to generate waves. If the Ohio State coach talks about revenue share and salary cap and all that, it's going to carry more weight. And that's what Ryan Day talked about as far as your projected salary caps in this NIL rev share era.
Well, I think we all would like to see more structure when it comes to the salary cap and then, how things are handled above the salary cap, call it a soft cap. So I think if you're talking about that, yeah. Do I think the cap should be higher? Absolutely. So, what does that mean in terms of, parity and all that? I don't know, but I can tell you right now, we want to pay our players, and we certainly would like to see that cap go much higher.
It's worth noting that Ohio State, a year ago, their athletic department revenue was over $300 million, about $336 million. LSU, by comparison, was in the 220s. So Ohio State's in a position where they have tremendous revenue that not every school has. The really difficult part is when you talk about going over the cap, you're talking about NIL. How do you regulate NIL? That's the question that no one seems to have an answer to, because if we're talking about true third-party NIL that has to be approved by the CSC, how do you limit someone's earning potential off the field? Ryan Day also sort of talked about the increasing market.
Well, if you look at the way it started and where it is now, every year it's I don't know the percentages, but it's exponentially gone up higher and higher. And anytime you have sort of an open market every year, you're going to see that go higher and higher. And so when you put a small cap on that, it makes it more and more challenging to compete and do things the right way.
But eventually there's a cutoff. I want you to remember this. I can give you numbers, and I have to the best that I know. Look, in 2024, LSU's entire roster was just under $5 million, which is mind-blowing to think how far it's gone. But as an illustration, in 24, they spent about just under $5 million on the entire roster. Last year, it jumped to $18 million that LSU spent. Remember, Brian Kelly did the $1 million match. They front-loaded all the stuff. They finally made the investment. They missed on a bunch of guys, why Brian Kelly got fired, in part. This year, that number's going from 18 to 50, right? So how much higher realistically can you go year over year? You don't have to take my word for it. That's just me giving you information that I have that's good. Nick Saban said this before Congress.
Let me give you the history. My first year we had collective at Alabama, $2.7 million. Next year, $7 million. Next year, $10 million. I retired. Next year, $17 million. Next year, $24 million. Now you have schools that have close to $40 million rosters.
So in 2021, the first year of NIL, $2.7 million. Then 7, then 10, then 17, then 24, and who knows what they're spending now this year in Alabama. I would presume it's more than 24. But the point is, when you keep increasing that number every year, eventually you get to a point where you can't keep increasing unless you find new revenue sources. Hence, the private equity conversations and all the jersey patch deals and everything. But it's still not enough. So What do you do? I don't have the answer. I wish I did have the answer. What I do know is going to happen eventually is college football is going to break away. They're going to exist independently. The players will unionize, and you will actually have a salary cap. Like, that's what's going to happen eventually. It will happen in my lifetime. How soon? I don't know. But with the Protect College Sports Act on life support right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to be now. All right, it's after further review. We're here at Marucci Hitter's house. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. Hey, remember, Parish Construction Roofing, it rains every day. If you have issues with your roof, let us help you out. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Do business with someone, that's me and Terrio and Tilly, our great staff. And, of course, our new partner, Drew Brees. I've told you, Drew is not a paid endorser. Drew is an equity partner in our company, and we're thrilled to have him. So Baton Rouge, New Orleans, our Austin, Texas branch as well. If you live in or know someone who lives in Austin, and they have issues with their roof, tell them, call Parish Construction Roofing. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. By the way, commercial, residential, roof repairs, roof replacements. We do gutters. We do soft wash as well. If you need to soft wash your home, your commercial building. We just soft washed Mike the Tiger's cage, by the way. We soft washed the LSU basketball practice facility. We could soft wash any type, any size of commercial building. We'd love to help you out. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. All right, put a button here on hour number one from Marucci Hitter's house. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here. Sports Center's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, Ross Jackson will be with us from LouisianaSports.net, Locked on Saints. He was out there in Metairie for day 2 of Saints training camp. How did New Orleans begin to move past Brian Brzee? An update on Kool-Aid McKinstry. What about the backup quarterback battle? We got it all with Ross when we come back. It's AFR.
After further review.
As we head into the top of the hour, remind you about Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. They treat you like family because that's what they've done since 1968 when Mr. Charlie opened the doors. Look, and no matter where you are in South Louisiana, there's a location near you. Matter of fact, if I go up to Airline right here, hang a right, there's the Shawbills on the right. If I go left and go up to Burbank, there's the Burbank and Bluebonnet location of Shawbills. Point is, no matter where you are around South Louisiana, in Acadiana, down in Morgan City, there's Shawbill's locations all over. And if you want the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, that's Shawbill's. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. Hit the promotions tab at the top, and you'll see every single deal they have going on right now, how they'll combine their offer with the manufacturer's offer to give you the best price, and they're always going to treat you like family. So schedule service or shop tires at ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at ReliefWindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season.
And we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
At Parish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com.
At Parish, we take pride in building roofs that last because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Is Sports Center.
I'm John Ryder. Quarterback Baker Mayfield and the Bucs were not able to reach terms on a new contract before Mayfield's self-imposed deadline of the start of training camp. The veteran spoke about it with ESPN's Jeremy Fowler.
Between years, average, and guarantees, probably the most disappointing is years. Didn't get offered anything over 2, and so when you're told you're a franchise quarterback and they handle it otherwise, that's disappointing. So felt like I earned that. It's not a poor me pity party over here. It is what it is, and so that's why I said the deadline was training camp. Focused on the team, focused on getting better, and trying to give this team a better chance to win a Super Bowl.
Baker Mayfield is entering his 4th season with Tampa Bay. It's Big Ten Media Days this week, and head coach Curt Cignetti of defending national champion Indiana says that he thinks the Big Ten is the best conference in college football. On the baseball scoreboard, they're in the 10th in Chicago. The Yankees lead the White Sox 1-0 on a Trent Grisham RBI single. Also in the 10th in St. Louis, Cardinals and Cubs tied at 2. Rookie J.J. Weatherhold of St. Louis, game-tying solo homer in the 7th. Twins beat the Royals 4-3 on a Cody Clemens walk-off grand slam.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, we close out our ESPN Radio Ranking Series with my top 5 Super Bowl contenders. It's on Sportsmanlike 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It is AFR. We are here at Marucci Hitter's House on Segan and thrilled to have you aboard with us. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, is going to join us here momentarily. And the reason he's not joining us right now in the time we had him scheduled is because during the top of the hour, Adam Schefter broke the news that Chris Olave has a new deal with the Saints. We'll get to that here in just a quick second. But so Ross Jackson will join us as soon as he's done, maybe in about 10 minutes or so. We'll get Ross to react to the Olave news, and we'll go through the day 2 of Saints training camp report. Bottom of this hour, Matt Jones will be with us. Matt Jones, if you're an SEC fan, you probably know Matt Jones is, not the former Arkansas quarterback, but Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio. He's like the preeminent Kentucky media member. Kentucky Sports Radio is a huge statewide deal. But Matt is now, he's been for years, he's done a weekend show with Myron Metcalf on ESPN Radio called Sunday Morning. Well, Matt and Myron are now moving to the weekday lineup as part of ESPN Radio's new lineup. So, of course, the Golics will be on the new weekday lineup, and so will Matt and Myron weekdays from 2 to 4 Central. So we obviously, it'll be Hunt Palmer and me here during that time. But anyway, we're going to have a chance to visit with Matt Jones. I visited with Matt Jones earlier today, so we're going to play that interview for you coming up in a little bit. Great conversation, not only about them moving to that slot, but also, LSU plays in Lexington this year, so we did talk some LSU, Kentucky, and they also cover the Cincinnati Bengals, so I asked about Joe Burrow as well. So that's coming up here at the bottom of this hour. Okay. We have breaking news from Adam Schefter. The New Orleans Saints and Chris Olave have agreed to a contract extension And I'm in no way surprised because it is absolutely what I've said it was going to be all along. But I am very disappointed because I was right. It's exactly what I said it was going to be all along. The Saints have signed Chris Olave to a 4-year extension worth up to $132 million with $90 million of it guaranteed. Chris Olave is represented by the Rosenhouses. When you look at that average annual value, that's about $33 million per year, which means only Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb will make more money on an average annual basis than Chris Olave. The Saints just paid Chris Olave effectively like the 6th highest paid receiver in the NFL. To me, that is not smart. And as we've talked about Olave all offseason and this contract, I wish we had this clip pulled. I'm going to have to grab it another time. But we've talked about it all throughout the offseason. And two things can be true at the same time. This is the part that so often when we have this conversation, people miss because they think I'm attacking Chris Olave or saying he's not a good player. None of that is true. I am not attacking Chris Olave. I think he's been a model teammate. I think the concussions are scary 2 years ago, to be perfectly honest with you. But he had a fully healthy season last year and had a career year, and good for him. When you're in a contract year and you have a career year, you're generally going to cash in. Awesome. Fire it up for him. I look at it through the prism, however, of how good is this player relative to the position in the NFL, and how do you pay them accordingly? And Chris Olave, as I've said over and over, and we have backed it up with all the data and all the metrics, Chris Olave is a bottom-tier starter in the NFL, maybe a mid-tier number one, but he would be like the best number two in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints just used a top 10 pick on a wide receiver. If they felt Chris Olave was the game breaker, you don't go use a top 10 pick on a receiver. They drafted 3 receivers this year. And I understand that other contracts get done and that continuously resets the market. The Falcons paying Drake London $141 million, $35 million per year, resets the market to an unreasonable number because Olave has been a more productive player than Drake London, statistically, throughout their time in the NFL. So I'm certain that's what the Rosenhouses are saying. I just don't like it. I think the Saints overspent on a guy that is probably a low teens or high 20s receiver in the NFL. Probably somewhere in that range. Pro Football Focus put out their receiver rankings. They had Olave 12th. Okay, even if Olave's 12th in the NFL, you're talking about right around, you're talking about like T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle range, $28 million. I still think that's too much. I think Chris Olave, as we've said many times, should be in the $20 million range. I think Chris Olave should be in that Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, like that Christian Watson, that $22 million range. I think the Saints are overpaying by about $10 million a year. Now, it ain't my money, but it is my favorite team, and they have been notoriously awful with the salary cap, and I think they did just overpay. I think they just paid a lower tier number one or elite level number two like an elite level number one. I mean, he, on an average annual basis, the only receivers in the NFL that will be making more per year than Chris Olave are Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. That's it. Chris Olave will be making more than DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins. I mean, go down the list. And if I ask you the question, if I gave you DK Metcalf or Chris Olave, who would you take? You know the answer. If I said, hey, Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave, you know the answer. That's the problem I have. And it's illustrated even further by the fact that they used the 9th pick on a receiver. I mean, you drafted franchise left tackles each of the last 2 years. You weren't going in free agency to spend on a left tackle. You paid Chase Young like a number one edge rusher. You didn't go into the draft to pick a number one edge rusher. So, again, I'm not surprised. This is what we said was going to happen all offseason. They were going to pay him like a top 5 receiver in the NFL. The market had been set. They're validating their decision to draft him and keep him and all this sort of stuff. And he's a good, productive player. He also, this past season, Chris Olave was a volume receiver. He had a career year, but he was also playing in a receiver room that was featuring Samori Toure and Devon Vele until he got hurt, and Ronnie Bell. Throw it to 12. You used a first-round pick on him. He's the only guy you got. Force the ball to 12. Well, this year, I don't think it's going to be a bold prediction, Chris Olave's production is going to drop because you've got Jordan Tyson, and you've got Devon Vele coming off of injury, and you got Jalen Polk there as well, and you drafted Berrien Brown, and you drafted Bryce Lance, and you drafted Oscar Delp, and you brought in Noah Fant, and you've got Juwan Johnson, and you've got Travis Etienne, and Alvin Kamara's back. All of a sudden, you got toys everywhere. So you don't have to keep forcing the ball to 12. I like Chris Olave. Again, this is not a knock on Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave deserves to be paid. I think Chris Olave is a really good player. I think Chris Olave has been a great teammate and has been good in the culture in New Orleans and wants to be in New Orleans. And I'm not even worried about the concussions like a season ago because he made it through a full season and stayed healthy, which is awesome and we all want to see. I just think they overpaid. Two things can be true at the same time. You can think Chris Olave is great, and you can want him in New Orleans, but you also have to decide, what is he worth? It's no different than Alontae Taylor or Paulson Adebo or any of the free agents the Saints have watched walk, Trey Hendrickson, because they have to decide who they're going to pay. And in my opinion, they overpaid for Chris Olave. Hope I'm wrong. I hope he goes out and has 4 all-pro receivers and becomes the best receiver in the NFL, but I think they just overpaid for a guy that is probably an elite level number 2. A good number 1, an elite level number 2. I think they just overpaid for him. Tom will tell if I'm right or wrong. And I expect all of you to disagree with me, by the way. I don't expect anybody to agree with that sentiment. But all any of you are going to hear, though, is that I think they overpaid Chris Olave, so you're going to think that I said Chris Olave is bad. I've never said that. He's a fantastic football player, an elite football player. He's just not a top 5 receiver in the NFL. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb in saying that. All right, it's after further review. We're here at Marucci Hitter's House. We're glad you're aboard with us. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. As a matter of fact, they're right down the road. We're here at Marucci Hitter's House. Segan, go up to Airline, bang a right, a couple miles down on the right before you get to Highland. You'll see South Point Volkswagen. Tomorrow's the last day of the month, which means it's the last day of the 4th of July savings event. I know 4th of July was, 4 weeks ago, or three and a half weeks ago. But the 4th of July savings go all throughout the month. You can get a new Atlas for 0.9% APR for 60 months. It's 5 years. Basically free money for 5 years on an Atlas. Go check them out at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, it is after further review, and we are thrilled to have you hanging out with us here at Marucci Hitter's House. Come on by. We're right here on Segan Lane. They got the footwear deal going on right now. $50 footwear, cleats, turfs, cross trainers. Come hang out. See us here at Marucci Hitter's House on Segan. Take advantage of these great deals. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break. Okay, Ross is good to go. We'll knock out a break. Come back. Ross Jackson will react to the Olave contract, and he'll give us a Saints practice report here, as was his day 2 out there on Airline Drive at the Saints facility. We'll do it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
As I peer across the street and a little to the right, I see Clegg's Nursery, another one of our great partners here on AFR. Clegg's has been a part of our AFR family for years, and I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen Air Airline, like literally across the street. Well, that's a furniture store, but like a little to the right. That's Clegg's Nursery. LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. Always encourage you, bypass the big box stores and support great local businesses that have been in our community for decades, and that's Clegg's Nursery. Miss Teresa over there is awesome. Butch and Chris and all the team at Clegg's. They've been so great to me and my family over the years, and we love to go shop at Clegg's Nursery because they got tons of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs. Maybe you want privacy shrubs or beautiful flowers to accent your flower bed or your patio pots. Maybe you need soil or mulch, bag or bulk, outdoor decor. They got it all at Clegg's Nursery. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford is taking $13,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season.
And we need a healthcare team
that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. Check them online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net for Insurance Network of Louisiana. It's really easy. It doesn't matter if it's your home, if it's your auto, if it's your business. We all have to have insurance, and unfortunately, a lot of us are overpaying and underinsured. We don't know it. We just have an auto draft set, and we just keep paying year after year after year because we have to have insurance. Well, what if you could fix that? And what if someone could shop for free to find you better coverage for less money? Got great news. They can. It's Insurance Network of Louisiana. See, they're partnered with dozens of the top-rated insurers in the world, and they go shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. Like your agent at your current place may be an awesome person, but they can only get you rates from their company. At Insurance Network of Louisiana, they shop independently for free to get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
We continue from Marucci Hitter's house. The news, if you missed it, just breaking. Chris Olave and the New Orleans Saints, according to Adam Schefter, have agreed to a 4-year contract extension, $90 million in guaranteed money, over $130 million. $132 is the max value of the deal. Ross Jackson, sometimes timing in life, better to be lucky than good, had Ross scheduled to join us right as this news breaks. So we have the opportunity to let Ross react to it. Okay, the deal is reportedly done. Your reaction?
Yeah, massive for New Orleans. And this is exactly what it is that they wanted to get done. Both sides were motivated to get a contract finished. I think that the hold-in for the first 2 days of practice was probably something that maybe started to cast a little bit of a gray cloud over the negotiations. But the truth of the matter is that all of that was very clearly communicated when it came to both sides of this thing, and that all together they just wanted to get this deal done. It lands right around where we thought it would be, really closer to the floor than the ceiling. We kind of looked at Garrett Wilson's $130 million deal as kind of the floor for this thing, and so he just barely clears that at 132 is the maximum value of it. And so this feels like a good deal for both sides. Both sides get the commitment that they were looking for. It was expected to be a really, really bright season for Chris Olave here in New Orleans.
So on an average annual value, he's the 6th highest paid receiver in the NFL. I know, Ross, I am on an island, okay? I do not believe he is worth that. He's a phenomenal player. I'm glad he got his contract and deserves to be paid. I think they overpaid. Since I'm the only one on the island and everyone else listening and watching right now will agree with you, convince me why they did not overpay for Chris Olave.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say this. I think we all know that you're not the easiest person to convince, so you're giving me a pretty big task here.
Yes, but I can't. It can be done.
But it can be done. So here's what I would say. Does it matter to you that Chris Olave was one of the 6 most targeted receivers in the NFL last year?
It does, because there were no other good receivers on the Saints roster, so they forced the ball to him because he was the only one.
Great. And would you say the same thing about a Puka Nacua and an Amon-Ra St. Brown and a Jamar Chase and a Justin Jefferson?
No, because they've had better number 2s and 3s on their rosters than New Orleans did a year ago.
Right. So when everything was on Chris Olave's shoulders to produce in the passing game, he produced like one of the most elite wide receivers in the NFL, amongst those that also managed to be able to do that in situations where they're sharing some of those reps. And sharing some of those reps is a big thing. That's what Chris Olave is going to be doing here in 2026, I think, with Jordan Tyson kind of added to that mix. But I do think that when you look at what it is that Chris Olave did, who also finished with a second-team All-Pro season, who also became only the 2nd wide receiver in New Orleans Saints franchise history to even meet the century mark in terms of pass catchers that's across any position group across the entire history of this franchise, I think that all of that kind of comes together to kind of explain a little bit of why it is that the Saints feel so strongly that this is the guy that is the number 1 in their system. He also averaged over 110 receiving yards over the course of the last 2 games of the season that he played, in a season where there was no other wide receiver option outside of him. So, yes, he was force-fed in those situations, but he was being relied upon to be the top wide receiver in the room. He cashed in on that. He made good on that. He arrived on that, and that's one of the reasons why you pay him.
If they're so convinced, why did they use the 9th overall pick on another receiver?
I think that there's an opportunity there to be able to kind of replicate what it is that what the Philadelphia Eagles had for Kellen Moore with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, 2 guys that were also both early draft picks, but I don't think one necessarily cancels out the value of either. They wanted to be in an offense where they had 2 big-time options. They now have 2 big-time options, one of which getting paid 4 years after or 4 years ahead, 4 years after coming into the league. And now they're on a perfect timeline to be able to have this contract extension done, have it in place while Jordan Tyson's on his rookie deal. And then by the time that Jordan Tyson's new rookie deal runs up and they get into a conversation about an extension there, they'll be clear of the books here. It's just smart spending. I
think you have one really good option that you're paying like a great option and one potentially great option if he lives up to it. But time will tell. I hope I'm wrong, but I think they overpaid for Chris Olave. We'll agree. I will disagree. We'll agree to disagree. But I know I'm the only person at least I'm the only person with a platform willing to scream this into the ether because I think there are probably a lot of other people that agree, and they're waiting with bated breath to see how it plays. Okay, the Saints are back on the practice field today for day 2. Obviously, the massive story is Brian Brzez's injury. No pads yet, Ross. Can you tell at all yet what their plan is to do to replace Brzez?
Yeah, I think that their plan is to continue to roll with the other guy that has experience playing that sort of 3-4 defensive end position. It's a little bit of a misnomer in this particular system to refer to Brian Brzez as a defensive tackle now, even though that's what he was drafted as, just because of what it is that these tackles or interior defensive linemen are now asked to do. And so the other guy on the roster that has done this already and kind of held this role is Nathan Shepard. And this is a guy that's a veteran player. He played that role well last year, had a pretty big breakout game against his former team, actually, the New York Jets. And so I think that they're going to turn to him as the guy that's going to be able to help them out over on that side of the ball and be able to play sort of that 3-4 defensive end role. And then outside of that, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're, eventually checking in on the trade market mid-August to see if there are some other opportunities or other players that they could potentially go out and get there. But today we saw a lot more Nathan Shepard playing that role, Vernon Broughton playing that role, and John Ridgway III playing that role, with Shepard being the guy that's most experienced already in that responsibility.
Ross Jackson's with us, Locked On Saints podcast. You can get it YouTube or podcast. Of course, you can read him over at louisianasports.net. The day 2 practice report notes will be up here shortly at louisianasports.net. I guess also notable, Kool-Aid McKinstry, a little bit of an ankle injury. Doesn't sound serious. What can you tell us?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, look, he had really strong play again today in the second day of camp. He has been big time kind of, showcase guy here so far, like one of the players that you point to that's been a standout already. He ended up with a rolled ankle at some point during practice today, and the Saints allowed him to finish the team drills and kind of finish the day over on the sideline. I spoke to a couple of different folks about his injury. Everything that I'm told is that it's minor. I was told no imaging is necessary, but to expect the Saints to play it safe with their top cornerback here and make sure that he's not, rushing or putting himself in a position to worsen what is only a minor injury right now. So, it's always tricky, right? When you talk about a guy who's got an injury and you say that it's minor, but then he ends up being kind of limited the next day or maybe not even participating very much in practice the next day, it kind of makes you go like, oh, okay, so what's really going on? But this is an early indication that the Saints are going to do what it is that they've continuously done and follow the rhythm of caution that they've already kind of set as a precedent for the way that they've been handling these injuries. So even though it's minor, don't be shocked if he's not fully participating in tomorrow's practice.
It's early in camp. It's way more important to have these guys ready to go later. I think everyone understands and agrees on that. Okay, saw from notes, Jordan Tyson got in the end zone today. What were the other, or who or what were the other standouts of day 2?
Yeah, definitely Jordan Tyson would be one of them. Ended up finding the end zone for the first time in camp, and it was a team drill in the red zone. That's the place where the Saints are really looking for him to have an impact. This year, they were last in the NFL last year in red zone to touchdown percentage. This is a guy that creates immediate separation and is really off the line of scrimmage and is really, really good creating separation out of his break as well, both of which very, very important when it comes to making plays in the red zone. So he'll be a good asset there. That's where he made his big play here today. Quincy Riley, also another standout, the cornerback opposite Kool-Aid McKinstry, going into his second year. He had an interception today on a pass that was a bit of a miscommunication, not on the same page between Tyler Shuck and Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson cut inside. Tyler Shuck threw the ball outside. And instead of the ball just harmlessly bouncing to the ground, Quincy Riley dove and made a play on it to go ahead and get an interception there. And that was the first interception of camp. And then I'd highlight the pass rush as well. Chase Young, Fadil Diggs, Mike Heldman, who came in, who you've had on your radio show. He was awesome coming out of Chattanooga as an undrafted free agent. Nathan Shepard, Caden Ellis, all these guys getting into the backfield, a lot of them getting what, the way that I would call it would be in position to get sacks, considering they're in a non-contact situation. At one point, Chase Young maybe a little bit overzealous, didn't want to slow down too quickly, but ended up bumping into and knocking down Tyler Shuck at one point, but all in good fun in all of it. Tyler Shuck got back up. He was all good. But the pass rush really put on a show today as well.
Hey, Chase, don't touch number 6. Please don't touch number 6.
He talked about it. Chase talked about it after practice in the media availability. And he was like, yeah, sometimes you just get going and you don't want to stop too fast. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, I guess.
Hey, guy, you're enormous. Don't. You look like He-Man. Don't touch number 6. Give us a heads up of what's ahead.
Yeah, so day 3 tomorrow. Now that Chris Olave's extension is done, you can expect him to get involved in team drills. That was a big motivator here. Of course, they had that hold in over the course of the first 2 days, but make no mistake about it, Chris Olave very involved, watching from the sideline, was out there for every minute of all of it. Now he gets his opportunity to take the field and be out there again. If Kool-Aid McKinstry is being held back at all in tomorrow's practice, which is certainly what I would expect, from what we've heard, that gives you an opportunity to get a little bit of a look at some of the cornerback depth with those veterans back there in Isaac Adam as well as Martin Emerson, who's been really impressive so far this camp. So those would be a couple of things to watch out for, as well as the continued exploration of that rotation over on the interior of the defensive line.
He's Ross Jackson, at Ross Jackson NOLA, at Ross Jackson NOLA if you want to give him a follow. Read him over at LouisianaSports.net. The Chris Olave story is up, and the practice note should be up here momentarily for free over at LouisianaSports.net. You can always listen or watch podcast YouTube, Locked On Saints. Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. Back at you. Appreciate you. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
All right. That is Ross Jackson. It's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We are here at Marucci Hitter's house. Come on by. We'll be here until 6. And if you're watching, you can see some of the footwear that they have, the cleats, the turf shoes. They got the cross trainers as well. $50 footwear. Y'all, you heard me correct. $50 footwear. Come take advantage of it here at Marucci Hitter's house on Seagan near Airline. The official bat of Major League Baseball. Come on, hang out with us here at Marucci Hitter's house. Okay, we're going to knock out a quick break. Come back. Our conversation with Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio, but also co-host of Matt and Myron, which joins the ESPN Radio national lineup. Don't worry, the conversation is a lot about Will Stein, Joe Sloan, LSU playing at Kentucky this year. We got some Joe Burrow Bengals stuff in there. You'll enjoy the convo. Matt's one of the best. You'll hear it next here on AFR.
AFR. REV,
RevFiber.com. Rev, proud partner of LSU Athletics, and they're about to launch some NIL opportunities for LSU athletes as well, which we're excited to tell you about. RevFiber.com is the website. That's where I want you to start. REV, RevFiber.com, for your home or for your business. Remember, Rev is backed by the security of an all-fiber network. What that means is, we've all been there before, right? Storm comes, knocks around the power lines, tree limb falls on a power line, knocks out power, knocks out internet, and then it's like you're living in Amish country. No. With a fiber network, the fiber is buried under the ground, so you have to worry about a storm knocking you offline. Lightning fast internet speeds up to 5 gigs, the best prices you'll find, and great local customer service. When you call Rev, you were talking to people at a local call center. They've been here for 90 years, 90 years. REV, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the...
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Big change coming to ESPN Radio's national lineup. One of my favorite shows, Matt and Myron. Hear him on Sunday mornings. Now going 3 to 5 Eastern weekdays. That'll be, I don't math very well, but 2 to 4 Central. Matt Jones, the Matt part of Matt and Myron. You know him as also Kentucky Sports Radio. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Matt, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing awesome. Normally when we talk to you, we're talking Wildcats, LSU, something like that. But, man, this is a huge deal for you guys, I guess, to get the call to the weekly, daily ESPN lineup. I've listened to Matt and Myron. I'm always in the car on Sundays, and so I've heard y'all a ton over the years. Why does that dynamic with you two work?
I think it works just because we're actually really good friends. We don't take sports maybe as seriously as other people, and so we give each other our friendship allows us to give each other a hard time. And we, you're in SEC country. I think it gives a different voice to what the national lineup on ESPN is. There's a lot of influence in New York and LA, and so Myers from Minneapolis, I'm in Kentucky, and that makes it to where you kind of get a different view. We do a lot of college sports, which is not as prevalent nationally on the ESPN lineup. So I think it's a good change of pace from a lot of the other stuff that you will hear on like national radio shows.
I think when SVP and Rosillo did their show on the ESPN lineup, it's maybe the only show that ever had a real heavy college content presence. I think this is the first time that they're going to have a show since, which is awesome. I'm fired up for you guys to have it. Hey, what's your favorite LSU Kentucky memory? Any sport, anytime.
Well, if you think about it, LSU Kentucky's got some crazy.
I know.
We have 2 basketball games that we prefer. The Miracle, where we were down 31.
The Mardi Gras Miracle.
In the second half and came back and won. We have the game in 96 that we scored 86 points in the first half, which is still probably the best half of basketball I've ever seen. Both those games were in Baton Rouge. Yeah. And then, of course, you guys will remember the Jared Lorenzen game where you all hit the Hail Mary as time expired after they'd already thrown Gatorade on Guy Morris. And then we beat you the year you won the national championship.
I know.
In an overtime game, Bart Scott got, I think, stopped Jacob Hester on the final play. So UK and LSU, for 2 teams that don't play a whole lot, have produced a pretty insane set of games.
Matt, it's why, LSU going up there in Kentucky, and I'll be making the trip, but I tell people, I'm like, that one's always weird, man. Even the 2001 game, LSU, Rowan Davey needed a miracle touchdown pass with less than a minute left to get out of Lexington.
I remember. I'd forgotten that one. Yeah, I'd forgotten that. That was another one that was crazy. For everybody knows UK basketball. UK football has generally not been good. They've had some decent years in the last few years. But the thing about it, and people know this, if you play in Lexington and you get to the second half and it's close, things can get weird.
Yeah.
Georgia, the year they won the national championship a couple years ago, the team that played them the closest was Kentucky.
Yep.
Last year, Kentucky beat Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. And, weird things can happen in Lexington, especially if the game's at night, which I'm not sure if the LSU one is, but I think it is.
It is. Yeah, it is. I noticed, I was looking at your Twitter earlier today. You did KSR today at Kroger Field. So you were at the stadium. Have you met Will Stein yet?
I have a number of times. I think he's going to be great for what Kentucky needs. I've always believed you have to do. Mark Stoops did really an amazing job here, considering what it was when he got here. But if I'm of the belief that college football is more open to other teams now than ever. as Indiana showed. And honestly, even though there's not a salary cap, the fact that people can spend a lot of money, including secondary SEC schools, gives you a chance if you spend it well and you have a good coach. And I think Will Stein can get the money. They've spent it pretty well, and they have a good coach. So I actually think this schedule this year is brutal. Probably the hardest schedule I've ever seen Kentucky have. But I think they are going to be very competitive. And I circle the Alabama game in Lexington, the Florida game in Lexington, and the LSU game in Lexington. I think Kentucky's going to pull one of those off. I'm not sure which one it'll be.
Do you like the 9-game schedule?
I do, because I just want there to be more better games.
Same.
I just think it's as they've expanded the playoff, the punishment for losing isn't as bad for teams like LSU that are always going to be in contention for it. I like it. I mean, nobody wants to see that week before rivalry week where everybody's playing Samford and it's not worth it. So I do like it.
Matt Jones is with us, Kentucky Sports Radio, but also the host of Matt and Myron, coming to ESPN Radio Monday, right? Monday's the launch?
Yeah, Monday, August 3rd. I'm going to have to shower every day because I'll have a camera on it, which is going to be a new, anybody in radio, like showering is like a once every 2-day thing, and now it's going to go to every day. So my water bill is going to go up.
T-Bob Hebert was our morning guy for years before he left for Barstool. I mean, every other day. I mean, even when he showered, the guy didn't clean his feet. So, I mean, radio people are gross, I think is the way you
T-Bob, by the way, is good, and I don't think it's not – I've never met him. But he kind of reminds me, maybe because of the book setting, of the guy in Confederacy of Dunces. Like I've always associated him, which is, he's smarter than that guy, but I've always sort of associated him with the guy that they drew on the cover of Confederacy of Dunces.
T-Bob just reads a lot, and so he uses big words so people think that he's smart. But so I think actually your description is apropos of T-Bob.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd like it. It's not a very nice description.
He doesn't.
Because I think he actually does a really good job on that TV show. But yeah, that's always been my thought.
Have you met Joe Sloan yet?
I actually have not. I'll meet him Monday. He'll be on my show Monday. Don't know a lot about him. It's interesting that when I've looked sort of at his play calling, it seems like he doesn't have exactly the same style as Stein. So I'm going to be interested to see how that works. I was a little surprised at the hire for that reason. But, Will has told me his belief is you get coaches of different philosophies so you can learn from each other, and I think maybe there's a little bit of that.
Joe deserves a lot of credit for Jaden Daniels' development when he was quarterback coach, but his play call, LSU couldn't run the football. So be interesting to see how Kentucky does with that. Obviously just stylistically different, though. But let me give you a little piece of advice, knowing Joe for a long time. He is a big bourbon guy. So you want?
Oh well, then he's good. They had a coaches in bourbon event the other night, and I heard Joe was enjoying himself. So now that makes sense.
I'm just telling you, you want to get in good. You go into your allocated selection. You make a phone call to someone nearby who can get you a rare bottle, gift it to Joe. Boom, you're in like Flint. Easy.
Yes.
Great dude there.
Can I ask you a question about Lane down there?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
So I saw Lane at Media Day, and this is actually, I'm sure we're going to talk about this our first week. I find Lane extremely entertaining, and I do like him. But I also find that he's like a woman you date that changes personalities every year or two. like all of a sudden they get into like Pilates one year, and then it's I'm going to do peptides the next year. Do you think that Lane's personality transformation is actually real, or is like next year going to be something different again?
Well, I think some of it is obviously genuine. Giving up alcohol, losing weight, getting in shape.
Yeah.
I think all of that those are clearly life decisions that he's made. I do think he is. And I've only covered him now for 7 months, right? Everything else has just been on the periphery, watching him from afar. I think he is a guy that the persona he puts on social media is very different than who he is in real life, because I think he is a very introverted, almost socially awkward. I say that, I don't know a better way to say this, Matt. I think he's almost a socially awkward guy, but he's a brilliant football coach. And I mean, here all that matters is you go win games. I mean, you could be Ed Ogeron, you could be Les Miles, you could be Nick Saban. If you win, people are going to love you here. So that really is just the onus is on him to go win football games.
And you know, he's going to have all the pressure in the world, but I think he probably likes that. I think it's a great fit, just in terms of, you know, the LSU program infinitely better than I do, but I would say, looking from afar, it feels like it reminds me of when Cal came to Kentucky, in the sense of it was a perfect personality fit at the time. Now that changed over time, and I think guys like Lane, they burn bright and they burn quick. And I think Cal did that here.
Sure.
But when it was rolling, it was a perfect fit, and I kind of just feel like that's how it's going to be for you all, too.
Before you go, Matt Jones is with us at KY Sports Radio. Done an amazing job with Kentucky Athletics forever. But, of course, national radio now. Matt and Myron coming this Monday to ESPN Radio, 2 to 4 Central, 3 to 5 Eastern, Monday through Friday. Before you go, I know right there in Lexington, Kentucky, right there bordering with Cincinnati on the state border. Everyone here obviously are Burrow fans. We have an odd amount of Bengals fans here now because of Burrow. Give us the 60 seconds on Cincinnati this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem they're going to have again is their offensive line. I think they've upgraded it. I think it's the thing that's held Burrow back for a long time, and I don't really know how that gets better for him. I think it'll be a little better. They already lost one of their players on defense. I think you're looking at another team where they're going to be, if Burrow stays healthy, they have a really good shot at the playoffs, but I think you're probably looking at a similar season to the last few. The magical run they went on a couple years ago, I don't see it again. But I love Burrow. I still think next to, you know, if I was building a franchise for the future, he might be the number one pick for me, considering the age of Allen and Mahomes. But it'll all be about the offensive line, and I'm not confident.
He is Matt Jones, Matt and Myron, this Monday, 3 to 5 Eastern, every weekday on ESPN Radio affiliate C to Shining Sea. Thanks, man. Good luck. We appreciate the time.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Our conversation with Matt Jones of ESPN Radio. We're here at Marucci Hitter's house. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Actually, the original Relief Windows office is like just down the street from where we are. But now, gorgeous new office, couple of years old, down on Airline Highway in Prairieville. Actually, you cross over Highway, you're going south on Airline, you cross Highway 42, about a quarter mile on the right. You can't miss it. Gorgeous state-of-the-art showroom. Actually, the same designer that did the renovation at LSU Football Ops designed the Relief Windows showroom. So it's always a great option if you want to pop in and talk to one of their associates there. They can do the 3D modeling for you so you can see what the windows, the door, the siding would actually look like if you're a visual person like I am. Super helpful. It's Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters and shades, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com with the heat index. Dude, it is, the air temp right now is 98 degrees. What is the heat? What is the feels like right now? Anyway, you know, that's just brutal for your home's energy efficiency. So you want to help? Put in energy efficient windows. I mean, they'll do the thing I tell you about all the time. They'll take a regular glass window in one of their energy efficient windows and put a bulb on top of it and a thermometer underneath, thermostat, so you can see the temperature difference. It's Relief Windows. Make your home more energy efficient. Increase your home's resale value. It's Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Okay, y'all, quick break here. We'll come back. Wrap up hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers in the pros. Busy day today. Chris Olave has agreed to a contract extension with the New Orleans Saints. It'll make him the 6th highest paid receiver in the NFL. Sam Spiegelman's here in about 30 minutes from right now. He's got a new prediction about Easton Royal. Adam Rittenberg covers the Big Ten and college football for ESPN. He'll be here in 45 minutes. We had a ton to do. We'll wrap up hour number 2 next here on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. So 2 different ways that you can get them. Number 1, you can call, dial the 8s. Think about, remember the Jello Shot Challenge, the 8,888 Jello Shots that Gordon bought? Well, it's all about the 8s because that's their phone number. 888-8888, 888-8888. 888-8888. That's anywhere in the state of Louisiana. Just dial 888-8888. You'll get a local office near you. If you've been injured, nobody wants to travel, you want a local attorney that can help. Gordon and his team can do it. They're local in every market in the state of Louisiana. And you can go online to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Right on the homepage, there's a little chat bubble. If you hit the little chat bubble, you can be texting with an associate immediately within seconds to help you sort of get rolling. So whatever type of accident you may have had, if you've been injured, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Go to getgordon.com, get Gordon, and get it done.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out. Proformla.com. Proformla.com. It's Proform Steel. If you need a metal building, Proform Steel are the best. Brandon Golson, he's like literally on the state's licensing board. So ethical dude, does beautiful work. Couple of differentiators when we're talking about Proform Steel. Maybe most importantly is the lead time. They carry a 10-week lead time for commercial and industrial buildings, when your typical is 16 to 20 weeks. For residential, it's about like 6 to 8 weeks on residential buildings. So that's from a signed contract to being out the door to you. And by the way, when that metal building is out the door to you, they will deliver it for free. It doesn't matter if it's a shed in your backyard or a giant industrial-sized building. You buy a building from Proform Steel, they will deliver it for free. Get your estimate right now online at proformla.com. Proformla.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Wrapping up hour number 2 here from Marucci Hitters House Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll begin with Grant Taylor. Big outing for him out of the bullpen late in the extra inning game with the White Sox and Yankees last night. 2 1/3. No earned runs for Taylor. Didn't walk anybody and punched out 1. Obviously, the White Sox ended up getting that win in 12 innings and ruined Paul and mine's parlay from our locks yesterday. Alex Bregman picked up another hit. It was another double, his 19th double of the season. He now has 8 hits in his last 3 games to go along with 4 doubles in his last 3 games. He is in fuego for the Chicago Cubs. Minor League Baseball, Trey Morgan, Durham Bulls doubleheader on Wednesday. Morgan turned in 4 hits and 7 at-bats in the doubleheader, scored a run and drove in a run as well. He's finally healthy and starting to swing the sticks a little bit better here as well. Michael Braswell III. So Braswell has made his debut in single-A ball as a pitcher. Royals organization, Columbia Fireflies. The debut was last night, inning and 2/3. Gave up a couple of runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He appeared in 18 games in rookie ball before getting the call up. Fastball was up to 95 last night for Braswell. Sat 94-95 for the majority of the game. Look forward to more from him. And then Angel Reese with the Atlanta Dream, 22-12 a night ago for Reese. 50% from the floor, dished out 4 assists, had 4 steals as well. Her 15.6 points per game is a career high thus far in her career and the season. That is Tigers in the Pros.
We are brought to you by our friends over at Evermore. Look, it's 100 degrees outside. Make sure you stay hydrated. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Evermore.com. Available at great local retailers. You can find the retailer nearest you or buy online at Evermore.com. They got the 20, the 32, and the 64-ounce bottles. I like to buy the 4 packs of 64-ounce bottles, and I'll drink 2 of them a day. Find Evermore at great local retailers. You can go to the website, hit the Find a Store tab, punch in your zip code, and it'll tell you the store nearest you, or you can buy online at Evermore.com. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. It's interesting. Like, I know overwhelmingly you are not going to agree with me about the Chris Olave deal. And so it's interesting to look at the text line and my Twitter and all, because like, I don't know any other way to say it. Like, but when I say Olave shouldn't be paid like the sixth best receiver in the NFL, I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm just saying I don't think he's the 6th best receiver in the NFL. And those two things can be true. Like, you can defend Chris Olave and think he's a really good player. I've watched him shrink in big moments. I've watched him drop contested balls. Like, he was a volume stat stuffer this year on a team that had no other options, and I think his productivity this year is going to plummet as a result of all the other options Tyler Shuck is going to have. I think he's a good player. He's not the 6th best receiver in the NFL. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, fmolhealth.org/LSU. That's where you can go to learn more about the championship health partnership. And man, we will be able to talk to them. I'm really excited about this. We're starting to put the finishing touches on an interview series with a lot of the LSU football players that are Our Lady of the Lake NIL athletes. So 23 NIL deals with LSU football players, which is awesome, and fired up for all those guys for the opportunity. But it's such a pleasure to be able to talk about Our Lady of the Lake every single day, because they are expanding healthcare in our community, and they are doing amazing things and get to highlight a lot of that. Like, they just had the ribbon cutting on the new Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center, which is state-of-the-art and incredible. Of course, there's the Children's Hospital. I mean, we take Drew there. There's specialists. He sees, a GI doc there. He sees his neurologist, Dr. Shaw, there. My personal physician is Dr. Curtis Chastain at the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. You want the best? I trust the lake, and you should as well.
Bayou Ford is taking $13,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
My name is Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is being able to give that small town feel that someone can pick up the phone and they can talk to someone or stop by the branch and get excellent customer service.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
I'm John Ryder. Breaking NFL news. The Saints are signing receiver Chris Olave to a 4-year extension worth up to $132 million with $90 million guaranteed, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield said today that he felt disrespected a little bit, that he and the team couldn't reach terms on the new contract before his imposed deadline for the start of training camp, and that he won't discuss the new deal until after the season. In baseball, it goes extras between rivals in St. Louis.
The pitch. Line drive down the right field line. That's a fair ball. Cubs take the lead. The ball bounces off the sidewall. Bregman going for two, slides. He's got a double. Cubs have a 3-2 lead. Alex Bregman delivers.
Call on the Cubs radio network. Alex Bregman and Ian Happ, each with RBI doubles in the 10th. And the Cubs outlast the Cardinals 4-2 in 10 innings. 11 innings in Chicago. White Sox over the Yankees 2-1. Twins beat the Royals 4-3 on a Cody Clemens walk-off grand slam with 2 outs, his 19th of the season. The Rays take down the Rangers 3-2.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR live from Marucci Hitter's house here on Segan. It is 5 o'clock quitting time, and glad you are driving home with us. Muse and Paul, you're back in studio. Alondra taking care of business here on site with us. We will chat with Sam Spiegelman in 15 minutes. Rivals, put in a prediction for Easton Royal to flip to LSU. Royal did respond to that on Twitter, so I'll ask Sam about that in about 15 minutes. And Adam Rittenberg is going to join us. Covers the Big Ten and college football for ESPN, and we will certainly ask Adam Rittenberg about this. The Big Ten, this is from Ross Dellinger over at Yahoo on Twitter just a few minutes ago, or earlier today, I should say. He noted that in a joint meeting today, the Big Ten presidents and athletic directors reviewed the revised Protect College Sports Act, but they did not cast a vote. Ross noted the SEC, Big 12, and ACC were all scheduled to hold separate presidents' calls around 3 Central, so when we started the show today. Ross also noted that Notre Dame informed the ACC they were supportive of the bill as both a member of the ACC and as an independent in football. The ACC presidents also did not take a formal vote on the Senate bill. So the Big Ten and the ACC leadership have not taken a formal vote on the bill in its current state. Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, has released a statement today supporting the Protect College Sports Act, saying, while no bill is perfect, I implore college sports leaders and senators to support this bill now. It is our best chance to deliver the benefits and level playing field student athletes deserve while providing protections institutions need to sustain college athletics long term. I really kind of hesitate a little bit to go too deep into the weeds on this topic, because I kind of get the sense, and you tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Because, like, I'm a guy sitting here doing this show, and my job every day is to give opinions and to talk about things that you find interesting. And I know that the overwhelming majority of college sports fans are interested in the well-being of college sports. Like, you want things to continue to progress. I don't know that everyone necessarily cares deeply about the minutia of the Protect College Sports Act. So if I could simplify it to make this maybe make sense and why it's relevant today, is there's a feeling, so the Protect College Sports Act is the first piece of legislation that has gotten bipartisan support. You have both a Republican and a Democrat co-authoring the bill. This hasn't happened yet. So you have both sides reaching across the aisle to try to make a compromise. So that's significant. And if this passes, everyone uses the phrase, you need to put up guardrails, right? Put a cap in, limit the transfers, a lot of the sort of lawlessness that is involved right now in college athletics, suing for temporary restraining orders, to get injunctions, for all that sort of stuff, to override NCAA rule, all the stuff that basically has led to this lawless culture in college athletics. This would put guardrails up. And so I think everybody is in favor of structure. The problem is the way this piece of legislation is structured doesn't necessarily check all the boxes that's needed for unanimous support as it's currently written. I mean, a week ago we had the commissioner, Greg Sankey, on the show at SEC Football Media Days, and we ran through the 10 things that SEC leadership didn't agree with in the Protect College Sports Act as it's written. And some of them are real sticking points. Expansion is certainly one of them, and the pooling of media rights. So you can like 85% of what's in that bill, but if the other 15% are deal breakers, they're non-starters, then the thing's not getting off the ground. And the reason this is so relevant today is there seems to be this sort of imposed deadline to make sure that this gets done now so it can go to the Senate for a vote so it can start moving through Congress. Otherwise, like, this session will end and it won't be able to be reconsidered again until months down the line. So you're putting it off yet another year, another cycle. So that's why this today has some urgency. So if anything breaks in the next hour while we're on the air here in the 5 o'clock hour, we'll certainly share it with you. We'll talk about it. But as of right now, a little bit, I shouldn't say a holding pattern. All the leadership are having these calls, but the ACC and the Big Ten have not taken a formal vote, and we'll see what the SEC elects to do if we get any info. I mean, just follow Ross Dellinger on Twitter. I mean, it's where whatever breaks on this will happen. It'll be Ross doing it, but we'll also get a perspective from Adam Rittenberg coming up here in about 25 minutes or so, who's at Big Ten Media Days and what sort of the Big Ten narratives are there. So we'll talk about all that coming up here in just a little bit with Adam. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Remember, 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at LMFJ.com. Maybe you got an anniversary coming up. Maybe you're looking to pop the question. Maybe it's a birthday. Shout out to my wife, Erica. She turns 29 today for the 27th time. I don't math real good, so I needed to think about that. But you want to thrill her with a gift in the red box? Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Amazing selection, not just diamond rings, but, of course, earrings and bracelets and watches and necklaces. They're awesome. Go check them out at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. I am a little – you know what? I think in talking about the Olave contract, I am a little encouraged because as I continue to say, I know people don't agree with me. People are excited to see Olave get paid, and they want him to get paid, and they think he's the number one and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. And again, God bless him, man. He's been a great teammate. He's been great for the culture, great locker room guy. Love the fact that he came back from the scary concussion situation 2 years ago to play a full season and have a career in his contract. That's awesome. And I'm not saying don't pay him. I'm not saying don't re-sign him. I'm not saying let him walk. I'm just saying I don't think he's the sixth best receiver in the NFL. That doesn't feel outlandish to me, but some of you seem to think it is. But now it is interesting to get a lot of the feedback from folks that are sort of agreeing with me now as I've said it. But the interesting part of the conversation that some are bringing up is saying, well, the market is going to keep getting reset as more and more receivers keep getting their new contracts, and so he won't be the sixth highest paid receiver in the NFL, for long. And while I understand that perspective, you're also doing the deal with the market as it presently exists. You're not thinking about what it's going to look like in 12 months or 18 months, and I don't know what that's going to look like. I mean, what receiver on a rookie contract is about to get broke off? I don't know. I mean, Devontae Smith, for example, has a 3-year, $75 million contract when he did his extension, so he made $25 million per. Well, now the top receiver in the NFL is Jackson Smith-Njigba, who just broke the bank and is making over $40 million per. So you don't do a deal thinking, well, how's the market going to get reset again next year and beyond and beyond? You do it in the current state in which it exists. And the current state in which it exists is the New Orleans Saints are paying Chris Olave like he's the sixth best receiver in the NFL. And I just don't happen to agree. Now, my sincere hope, from a cap structure standpoint, New Orleans next year should be out of their proverbial cap hell, and they should actually have a surplus. It's like they're not going to have to do the wild, wacky restructure thing to get within cap compliance. They're actually going to have money to spend next year. And, of course, the cap keeps going up as revenues keep going up every year. So maybe it's a thing where this doesn't end up being something that's crippling, but I can't help but think of the years where the Saints did long-term expensive deals with offensive players that it didn't work out, and it ultimately crippled them to where they saw great defensive players like Trey Hendrickson or Marcus Williams walk in free agency because they couldn't afford to keep them. And that's sort of the thing that I would hate to see as you're rebuilding this roster right now through the draft, which is the right thing to do. I think they're 2 years late in doing it, but they're doing it now. I would hate to see a situation pop up where you have guys like Kelvin Banks or Taleh Fuaga, or maybe it's Kool-Aid, or any of the young guys on this team that you're really excited about in the future, but you end up in a situation where you overpaid for the wrong guys, and it puts you behind the 8 ball down the line when you're trying to re-sign free agents you'd like to keep. So that's the perspective that I'm coming from. It's not an anti-Chris Olave thing. I'm excited for Chris Olave for all the reasons we talked about. I think he's a fantastic football player. I just don't think he's the sixth best receiver in the NFL. That I don't know any other more plain way to say it that might make sense. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Someone who might one day be a top 6 receiver in the NFL is Easton Royal. How about that transition? Professional radio guy. Another national recruiting analyst has put in a pick for Royal to flip from Texas to LSU. It's our buddy Sam Spiegelman, who will join us next on AFR here from Marucci Hitter's House on Segan.
After further review.
We're brought to you by the Watermark in the Renaissance, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown, Watermark Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. That's been the LSU football team's home away from home on home football weekends. And I say it often, but if you're thinking of planning an event, think about what Renaissance Baton Rouge pulls off for the LSU football program. The team moves in, the coaching staff moves in. They convert the grand ballroom to where they have all their full team meetings and meals. All the smaller rooms they partition off for breakout, like position group meetings. They have enough guest rooms to host the entire football team and all the rest of the guests that are there for the weekend, for a home football weekend. So check them out at Renaissance Baton Rouge. Maybe you're planning on being in town or have family or friends or clients in town for a football weekend. Make sure they know where to stay. Right there on Bluebonnet near I-10, it's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
If your office is experiencing performance issues, like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Well, first it was Steve Wiltfong. Now it's Sam Spiegelman. Two national rivals analysts have predicted five-star receiver Easton Royal to flip from Texas to LSU. Sam put in that pick today, and Sam Spiegelman joins us on AFR. Yo, dude, how are you?
How's it going, Matt?
Probably better than your mentions today, especially from Austin, Texas, I would imagine. Okay, so let's walk through it. Why? Maybe, Sam, just walk through the process of how you go through putting in a pick like that.
Great question. Obviously, people who have been reading on the Rivals Network and on the Bengal Tiger that Shay Dixon runs, we have been updating this story nonstop leading into and since Easton Royal's official visits. Probably the biggest subject that we need to pay attention to, it was his timeline for a decision. And most kids in the 2027 class have already locked in a commitment or have flipped or shut down their recruitment. Easton Royal is one of only a handful of players that we are now, that I have put out multiple times, but now feel great about the timeline for when he's going to make a decision. which is likely going to be after the college football season starts, after his senior season starts. With that being said, why now for a time for a pick for LSU? As I've reported throughout the spring, I think he made 4 or 5 visits to Baton Rouge this spring before his official visit then at the beginning of the summer. The longer this has went, you've heard a lot of differing opinions that have kind of evolved as this timeline continues to change. One thing I can tell you for sure that is included in the intel that was part of this prediction, Lane Kiffin has put himself right at the forefront of Easton Royal's recruitment. Lane Kiffin is not known to be one of these head coach recruiters. Conversely, guys like Steve Sarkisian have that reputation. Former LSU coach Ed Orgeron had that reputation. But Lane Kiffin has involved himself in a very good bit over the span of this summer. And I can tell you that Easton Royal is an absolute top priority for the staff. Not that he wasn't a month ago, but that LSU is going to be aggressive, not only in the way that they recruit him and respect his timeline for making a decision, but from an NIL standpoint. I reported that this offer is probably going to be north of $1.5 million for Easton Royal when it's all said and done. I'm not saying that Texas and Florida won't be able to put that out there, but there is a lot of sense from the people in and around Easton's camp, from the people in Baton Rouge, and of course, the folks over in Austin who are doing everything they can and will probably hold on to his commitment for some time. That eventually this is probably going to work out well for LSU if things continue to trend in the direction that they have over the past week or two.
Sam, did I see Easton? I'm looking for the tweet right now. I thought Easton Royal made a reply on social media so as to say, I haven't even talked to anyone in recruiting about my flip, so how does this get put out there? Did I see that today, or was that maybe from a parody
Yes, you
site?
did.
Okay,
you certainly did.
And he's deleted it? Because I don't see it up there right now. So what do you...
Potentially.
Okay, yeah, please walk me through that and what happened. And maybe, do you have a relationship with Easton?
He's not wrong. Easton and I have not spoken on the record over the last, couple of weeks. Probably at the beginning of this month would have been the last time we spoke on the record. And there has been conversation off the record with him, and I'm not saying myself, or other reporters, but he has said some things on air. I know he did an interview with our friend Garland Gillen at Fox 8 about not speaking to coaches. He has had some dialect with some coaches. He's had dialect with general managers, head coaches. His mom has been able to speak to a lot of coaches. People in the building in Gainesville, Austin, and Baton Rouge are not going to take the summer off of recruiting the number one wide receiver in the country. And to be honest, Matt, this stuff happens all the time in our line of business where kids obviously don't always love when intel gets out and predictions are made, especially someone like Easton who, by all accounts, wants his decision-making process to be in secret behind closed doors and not for the open for people to pay so much attention to. But things turn out a different way in this field, and people speak. And the truth is that, a flip is not imminent. Easton hasn't told LSU that I'm coming there, and he hasn't told Texas, hey, I'm staying home. This is a fluid process. He could shut his recruitment down tomorrow and make some of us look like they don't know what they're talking about. But the truth is the intel points to LSU and Florida continuing to be aggressive. I expect Easton to be on campus at all 3 of those schools in September and October. I believe that a decision could take all the way to December, but I would not be surprised that after those visits, seeing some proof in concept in Gainesville and also in Baton Rouge, if Easton Royal did not end up changing his mind and signing eventually with LSU.
Sam Spiegelman with Rivals. Sam, coaches don't like when intel gets out sometimes too. It's not just high school players. Let me ask about the timeline. So you said that a decision will come after his senior season starts. There was a time, if I'm not mistaken, where the thought was that Easton would let all these schools know a decision before his senior season starts. So why that timeline to wait until the season begins?
Yeah, I honestly believe that he wants to see more from some of these schools. I know that sounds to the extreme for a lot of people at home who, most kids are content that after they saw spring practices and made their junior day visits and then took official visits and, negotiated very high NIL figures that, he would need to see more. But, if you're an LSU fan or a Florida fan, the timeline being extended works in their favor. Now, there was some doubt in other buildings, or including LSU's, that how long would you wait for Easton Royal? Because, as you know, Matt, this is a different era of college football roster assembly. And as great of a prospect as Easton Royal is, number one receiver, number one player in Louisiana, number 3 in the country, LSU is going to be very aggressive again in the transfer portal next year. That came with the terms of hiring Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock to the head coach and general manager. But from what I understand, Lane Kiffin has been leading the charge to try to make sure that Easton Royal ends up being a Tiger. And I think that's affected some people and some strategy in the front office, that they're willing to let him take some visits. Like I said, Lane Kiffin he's known for his offense, but we've never seen it in purple and gold. John Sumrall is one of the best coaches in the country. You and I both know that, but he's never seen what that looks like in the SEC. So, before this kid does potentially pull the trigger on a flip, which, again, we all know that I predicted him to, he's going to want to see that all up in person. And I think he's going to be in Austin for the Ohio State game. I think he's going to be in Tiger Stadium and in the Swamp as well. And if he does visit those schools, as I expect him to do, it's going to also put the pressure on Texas to figure out what they're going to do with their number one wide receiver commit visiting other rival SEC schools.
Sam, maybe this isn't something that you can answer, but I'll just get an opinion. Do you think Easton Royal is worth $1.5 million if you have a cap on a position group? You know what? It's definitely not my place to answer because they don't pay me enough to make those hard decisions. Right. But I think you need to look at it from 3 different perspectives: from Florida's, from Texas's, and LSU's. And I know this is an ESPN station in Baton Rouge, but if you look at over at Texas, their receiver room starts with Cam Coleman, who's getting paid twice what Easton Royal would potentially make as his first year at one of these programs. So Texas's roster is loaded with high-end talent that they are paying very high salaries for. At LSU, Easton Royal would be the number one receiver right off the bat, barring a huge addition in the transfer portal as well. But obviously that's a part of the plan. I've been fortunate. I know this is a question you asked a little while ago, but I've been fortunate enough to hear about Easton Royal since he was in the middle school ranks before he got to Brother Martin. And they were talking about him being just an absolute alien of a prospect back then, that nobody could guard him. And Matt, over the last 3 years, nobody has been able to guard Easton Royal on the field. And he has blown up in camp settings where he has measurables and traits that you cannot teach. The fact that he is an offensive player, I mean, we saw what Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock were able to do to close with Big Rich Anderson and Lamar Brown last year. There are certain players with the skill set, the traits, and if they happen to be from Louisiana, it adds just a little bit more pressure. That to LSU, $1.5 million for Easton Royal makes a ton of sense. He is a must-get player that you cannot let go to another school in the SEC. He plays on offense. He can be featured in Lane Kiffin's strongest side of the ball. And in terms of, is he just a really good receiver or just a great one? I really lean toward the latter. I think he is special. I don't know if the best prospect I've ever seen at that position coming out of Louisiana has been Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase, obviously right there behind them. And I kind of have Easton Royal in that same tier. He is just a different sort of cat. In terms of speed and quickness and agility, he blows people away. He has the track speed to prove it, but he also has the intangibles. He has the work ethic. He's a fantastic kid, a fantastic young man. Wherever he ends up, he's going to be a great person to represent that university. And if LSU is lucky enough to win this sweepstakes, he's going to make a fan favorite for the Tigers. Sam Spiegelman from Rivals. Y'all give him a follow at Sam Spiegelman. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Anytime, Matt. Have a good one.
Thanks. Same to you. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Interestingly enough, there's the photo of Lane Kiffin and Easton Royal on his balcony, the balcony photo. And Lane Kiffin's wearing a Saints hat, interestingly enough, a hat tipped to New Orleans, a literal hat tipped to New Orleans. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, look, you can always get by Rouse's for if you're making your groceries, if you're popping in for lunch or dinner, you don't feel like cooking. They have ready-made grab-and-go options on their hot bar or their sushi. They've got the seafood buffet over there as well. Check them out at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. I said at Sam Spiegelman. My apologies. It's at Sam Spiegs is the Twitter handle. S-P-I-E-G-S. At Sam Spiegs is the handle if you want to give Sam a follow. It's a great follow. I mean, he's a national recruiting analyst, and we appreciate the perspective. So now Steve Wiltfong and Sam Spiegelman have both put in picks for Easton Royal to flip. And Shea has said it all along as well that he thinks that Easton Royal will end up at LSU. The longer that door remains open, the longer there is an opportunity for Easton Royal to walk through it. All right, it's After Further Review. From high school to college, we'll knock out a break. The Big Ten Media Days have wrapped up. Our buddy Adam Rittenberg, who covers the Big Ten and college football for ESPN, has been up there. He'll join us next as we continue on a Thursday edition of AFR from Marucci Hitter's House, where y'all got $50 footwear, cleats, turf shoes, training shoes. Come get them here at Marucci Hitter's House on Segan. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Always love telling you about our friends over at River City's 1 Hour Air, especially on days like this when at 5:29 p.m. the air temperature is 97 degrees. It's freaking ridiculous, man. Anyway, if you got trouble with your AC, you got big trouble. So call River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll get you fixed up. Hey, listen, nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. Give them a ring, 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Moscona Special save you $25 on any system repair. And remember also about their maintenance club. I always encourage you to do this, always encourage you, because you get membership pricing if you do need a repair. You get front-of-the-line service, and your seasonal maintenance, your AC tune-up, and your heater safety check, that's complimentary if you're a member of the maintenance club. So call them today, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers.
I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana propane dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
10 Media Days wrapping up. Heavy hitters, Michigan, Ohio State, and the defending national champion Indiana Hoosiers. It is still weird to say it. Adam Rittenberg covers college football and the Big Ten for ESPN. He's at ESPN Rittenberg if you want to give him a follow. Joins us now. Adam, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, Matt. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. Kyle Whittingham at Michigan. We're talking about Ohio State, and then there's Kurt Cignetti in Indiana bringing up the caboose, just wrapping up Big Ten Media Days to make sure everybody sticks around. Is this like an alternate reality for you that still maybe hasn't settled in?
You know, for me, it was visiting Indiana this spring to spend time with Sig and that team. And for me, it was actually seeing how their stadium is still the same. It's a below-average stadium, kind of bottom of the Big Ten type stadium. And, their offices are the same. And it's like, man, these guys won a national championship. It is really unbelievable. But as Sig said today, listen, they don't plan to go anywhere. They have turned the page to this next season, and they believe they'll have a chance to compete for national titles and playoff appearances for quite some time. So this is the new reality in college football, and it is an incredible story that rattled the whole landscape, but it's not one that I think is going to go away anytime soon.
Do they have the trophy, like a really nice display for it?
They did redo their trophy case. They had quite a few more trophies to put in there. I mean, shoot, they swept, Heisman, all the National Coach of the Year awards. They won the Big Ten. I mean, people don't pay as much attention to that as they used to. They won the Big Ten title in Indianapolis. I mean, for me, that was unbelievable because I covered that game for years, and they're the closest school, closest campus to that stadium, and they hadn't sniffed it, and now they're in it. In winning it. It was just unbelievable.
Realistically, what's the perception, the idea of how good this Indiana team can be?
Yeah, I think they can be really good. I mean, line of scrimmage wise, they're one of the best teams in college football. If you look at it, offensive line, they bring back Carter Smith, who's the Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year, Drew Evans, Bray Lynch, and then they add Joe Brunner from Wisconsin, who was an All Big Ten guard. Defensive line, Tyreek Tucker will be one of the favorites for the Outland Trophy. At defensive tackle, they brought in 3 transfers who they think can contribute at the end spot, 2 from Kansas State, 1 from Notre Dame. And then it comes down to, can they run the ball effectively because they're going to be really committed to it like they were throughout the playoff run last year. And then what do they get from Josh Hoover? I think he's still the wild card because he's played a lot. He's been really productive, but he played a style at TCU with the mistakes and the turnovers that just isn't going to fly for Sig. That was a huge part of their success last year, not making a lot of mistakes, not putting themselves in difficult situations. And as you told me today, quarterbacks, and Fernando showed this last year, you're ultimately judged by making the big plays in the fourth quarter, and that's how Josh Hoover is going to be judged, because you can make an argument that this year's schedule for them is as tough or tougher than a year ago. Obviously Ohio State coming in, having to go to Washington. I think they get USC at home. So there's some real challenging games on the schedule for Indiana.
Adam, we're in Louisiana, and people always talk about fit here just because of the culture in Louisiana and all that stuff. I don't know how prevalent that conversation is in the Big Ten, but when I look at Michigan hiring Kyle Whittingham, that just feels weird to me. And people here talking about Brian Kelly not being a fit. And Kelly's 64 years old. Kyle Whittingham's 66. He's a dude from California, spent most of his life in Utah. Does this feel like it's going to work?
Well, I think it'll stabilize things at Michigan. I don't know if it's going to lead to a national championship. And, if it doesn't, then it'll be looked at as a failure. I mean, Kyle, why would you leave Utah at 66 when you're on the brink of retirement? It's to go win a national championship at the end of your career. It's interesting, though, Matt. Like, stylistically, it does fit. I mean, he believes in running the ball, winning the line of scrimmage, being great on special teams. He's a tremendous developmental coach, which Michigan had to be for years because they were behind, in my view, in recruiting and in spending, and now they've caught up. But it is odd, right? These guys from Utah all coming in, Utah guys, BYU guys, West Coast guys to Ann Arbor. But I do think his personality is a fit at this point in time because Michigan just needs a little bit less drama. And again, it's nothing against the players. They weren't the ones causing it. Their scandals have been coach and administrator driven, staff driven, not player driven. And so everyone's like, oh, God, are they going to be out of sorts because their athletic director was under siege here recently? Like, you think the players care about that? Like, they want to know who their coach is. Yeah. They want to know how their practices are going to be run, who their strength coach is. Like, all of those things Kyle is going to excel at. Will they be good enough? It's a really tough league, man. I mean, for all the SEC talk about depth, which we can get into, Big Ten's a lot deeper than it was a few years ago. So for Michigan, which was, has been a little bit down lately, to rise up in the conference is not going to be easy.
Okay, so let's talk depth, because there's a team that the more I kind of get into the preseason, magazines and looking at, I am sort of smitten with Washington because I think Damon Williams is awesome. And I look at their schedule and I go, they may be favored in every game except one until the final two when they play Indiana and Oregon. Like, that could be one of the teams mid-November we're going, oh my God, Damon Williams, Heisman, Washington, playoff contender. Am I nuts?
No, I was pretty high on Washington last year. And, they were in some of those games. It was 7-6 with Ohio State at halftime. Michigan, they kind of let one slip away there, I thought. But they are very confident, talking with Jed Fish, talking with Damon Williams today. They didn't go heavily into the portal, which is always, to me, a big indicator. Like, he believes in his personnel. He did not feel like they had to go heavy portal to replace a guy like Jonah Coleman or Denzel Boston. Like, they like who they have coming back at running back and receiver, and then obviously to get Damon back. And they were very clear today. This is Damon's team. Even everything that happened in January, that 48-hour craziness with the portal, they are very much supportive of him. And being the leader as a second-year starter and a really explosive player. And then the part that surprised me, Matt, was Jed saying, we think we'll be a top 10 defense. He has real good confidence in the linebacking group, complete return of the coaching staff there, led by Ryan Walters, obviously former head coach here in the Big Ten. But I'm curious to see if that unit, if they are indeed a top 10 defense, paired with an offense that typically ranks in the top 15 or 20 in scoring, they will make some noise. They will be in the playoff conversation. I'll give you a game that's really important. It's for both teams. But the winner of Washington at USC is going to be I think, have a chance. The loser is going to have a harder road, obviously, especially if it's USC, because of who else they have on the schedule.
Yeah, said that I think Washington could be favored in every game except one until those final two. The one is the game at Southern Cal in October. It's that should be a really good one. That, by the way, that 48-hour craziness with Damon Williams. Yeah, we were pretty well aware of that 48-hour craziness with Damon Williams. I think we might have been keeping a pretty close eye on that here in South Louisiana. I got a couple more for you, literally just two more. One is, okay, with respect to depth, and I haven't asked you anything about Ohio State, but they are what they'll be really good. We get it. It's just, can they win all the big ones? Who are we not talking enough about?
So I think, again, Washington's a good name. I think USC, talking to Lincoln, he believes this will be his best, most complete team. Now, they have a very tough schedule, much like Ohio State, but they have three big ones at home: Washington, Oregon, Ohio State, where they've played pretty well. Can they go on the road to Penn State and get a win? Can they go on the road to Indiana and get a massive win over the national champions? that's going to really shape their season. Again, I think you look at a team like Illinois, they've won 19 games quietly the last 2 years. That's the best 2-year win total in team history. Brett Bielema feels good about his team. Minnesota, consistent 7-8 win team. They bring back their quarterback in Drake Lindsay. Maybe they can rise up. But I think we're talking about the clear top three with Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. Then Penn State, I don't know if they're a sleeper, but they're a team that with a very favorable schedule, a new coach in Matt Campbell, bringing over a ton of players from Iowa State, including their quarterback, Rocco Beck. We could look up and see them as a 10-win team at the end, and suddenly, oh my God, they're in the playoff. I don't believe they will advance far in the playoff, but they can get to the playoff.
Okay, before you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't get a thought on the Big Ten stance on the Protect College Sports Act. I know there was meetings today that I read that the Big Ten didn't take a vote, the leadership there. Can you just give us sort of a synopsis of the Big Ten stance on the PCSA as it is right now?
Yeah, I mean, much like the SEC, they wanted some revisions in there and felt like they were waiting a really long time to get those, and then they finally got those, and they have to circle back with their folks and their presidents and chancellors. Tony Petitti, the commissioner, is essentially spending 80-90% of his time on this. Constantly, we were doing an interview, was it Tuesday, and he stepped away to take a call, presumably about that. So he is very much in the weeds, trying to get this done. But again, you're dealing with a dysfunctional entity in college athletics, and you're dealing with a dysfunctional entity in the U.S. Congress. And when you bring those two together, what do you expect? So I'm not optimistic, but we'll see what happens here in the next few hours and days.
Dysfunction reigns. He is Adam Rittenberg at ESPN Rittenberg. Give him a follow. Covers the Big Ten and college football for ESPN. We appreciate it. Thanks, Adam.
Always fun, Matt. Appreciate you.
It is our pleasure. It's After Further Review. We appreciate Marucci's Hitter's House for having us here today. Love coming by this spot. Siegen near Airline. If you've never been, man, take the tour. Like, you got to go take the campus tour. You get to see where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball, which is patently insane. I mean, you turn on a Major League Baseball game, and you see the best players on planet Earth swinging a Marucci bat, and it's made right here off of Siegen Lane in Baton Rouge. And you can take the tour. Remember, come on into the storefront because they got the footwear sale going on right now. $50 footwear. Cleats, turfs, trainers, they got them all. Come see us here at Marucci Hitter's House. All right, it's After Further Review. We got one segment left. We'll wrap up with our locks and what we learned. Unfortunately, didn't go great for us yesterday. Bit of a bummer. Minnesota Twins. And my Golden State Valkyries pick bombed too in the WNBA. But it doesn't matter because the Twins just brought me down. Stupid Twins. Still dominating WNBA bets. I nailed a 4-team WNBA parlay the other night, Alondra. A 4-team WNBA parlay.
So the entire WNBA?
Oh, it's so easy. All right, it's After Further Review. Final break. We'll wrap it up next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions over at Glow Resources. Hey, go to glowresources.com/careers because they're hiring over there at Glow Resources. So glowresources.com/careers. They got it linked on their socials as well. glowresources.com/careers. From industrial to the executive level, everything in between, they got you covered. And I'm looking here right now. Baton Rouge, listen, I tell you all the time, they service businesses all over the country and the world. They have opportunities available in Baton Rouge, Salt Lake City, Caruthersville, Missouri, Port St. Lucie, Florida, Ashland City, Tennessee, Denham Springs, Splendora, Texas. Where's Splendora, Texas, Alondra? You're a native Texan. I mean, my point, LaPorte, Texas. Point is, they help businesses all over the country and all over the world. GlowResources.com.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FML Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Love telling you about River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. When it comes to your industrial contracting jobs, you want River Parish Contractors. River Parish Contractors, they are right there in Reserve. Got to go visit the shop. Man, they're awesome people over there as well. Just great to work with. They got more than 500 employees. So you're talking about a business that not only prioritizes safety. I told you they scored a 99 on a Fortune 500 company safety audit, but they're big enough to do any style of job you need. Shops open 24/7 for any client. You want to stop by, see the progress of your job or any job, pop in literally 24/7 over at River Parish Contractors. Fabricate and install. It's easier on their engineers, significant cost savings because of the taxes. They're all right there at River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com. Come visit the shop and see my friends over at rpcontractors.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Thursday edition of AFR. Love telling you about our friends here from Marucci Hitter's House. We appreciate them so much for hosting us. Okay. How are we going to do this, Muse? I don't know if you can open your mic while you're there. So first of all, Muse, give us a recap of yesterday. I can tell you my parlay did not hit because stupid Minnesota Twins screwed it up. Actually, so did the Golden State Valkyries. So I missed on my parlay. What about you and Paulie? How did you do?
So for this to work, I have to turn you off so I can speak, and then I'll turn you back on. I missed my parlay by one leg. The no-run first inning bet hit. The Yankees had a 4-run lead with 9 outs to get, and they lost in 12 innings. And then that also cost Paul his parlay as well, was the Yankees lost to the White Sox in 12 innings.
So we had a no for that. Stinks.
Yeah, not good.
No. Not the best. Okay, well, we got to get back on the horse and see how this is going to go tonight. So actually, Muse, why don't you go ahead and start it and then throw it to Paul, and I'll wrap us up.
Sounds good. All right, we're going to go back to the well with the no-run first inning. It's done really well for us. As I said, it's one of my favorite props to bet. We're going to San Diego tonight. Giants and Padres, Robbie Ray versus J.P. Sears. No runs in the first inning. That comes back minus $1.15, so pretty good value. They have combined to give up 2 runs in the first inning here so far in the month of July. So they're hot. No runs first inning, Giants and Padres. Paul.
So I'm going to go back to Musso's Red Sox here. I'm going to go Sonny Gray +6+ strikeouts at +139.
Scone.
Okay. Going back to the well with the thing I know best. That's the WNBA. And I may not know anything about the WNBA, but I know this. There's no parity in that sport, in that league. The Minnesota Lynx tonight are on the road at the Toronto Tempo. Didn't even know that was a thing. And they're minus 770. This is a professional sporting event, mind you. That means you got to bet $770 to win 100 on the money line. Okay. The Atlanta Dream, this is tomorrow, but the Atlanta Dream are at home against the Seattle Storm, and they're minus 720. So we're going to link up those two picks, the Lynx minus 770, the Dream minus 720, and then to bring the juice down, we're going to throw in the Boston Red Sox on the money line tonight. They're minus 205 against the Athletics. As Musha, or maybe it was Paulie just said, Sonny Gray on the bump for Boston tonight. And I think the Red Sox will get it done. So that comes back, that three-leg parlay at minus 110. So the Minnesota Lynx, minus 770. The Atlanta, whatever they're called, minus 720. And the Boston Red Sox, minus 205. Three-leg parlay coming back at minus $1.10. And you can get you a boost over at DraftKings as well to get even better numbers. So you're welcome. We're just out here handing out winners left and right. All right, it's After Further Review. I love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williamson and the gang, they're awesome. Check them out, williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Remember, back to school time, parents, schedule your eye appointment for your kiddos. Like you take them to the doctor for their annual checkups, whatever it may be. Make sure you take them to the eye doctor. They can see the board. They can do great in school. They used to have a board in school. Is that dry erase board, whiteboard? We had chalkboards. I guess they have whiteboards. I don't know. Does everybody use computer? Whatever. Make sure their eyes are good. Full service optical shop. WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery, eye exams, contacts and glasses, eye surgery. They do it all. WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, just about going to do it for us here. Great show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Muse and Paulie back in studio. Alondra on site. If you missed it, we did react to Taysom Hill, his time officially done in New Orleans. But during the show, the big news that broke, Chris Olave, if you haven't heard, Olave has agreed to a contract extension with the New Orleans Saints. 4 years, $132 million, $90 million of it guaranteed. That makes him the sixth highest paid receiver in the NFL. Ross Jackson was here, reacted to that, gave the report. So right at the top of hour number 2, I gave you my reaction to the Olave deal. And the contract is, in the past couple of weeks since we've talked about this, the contract is exactly what I thought they were going to do. So they were going to pay him north of $30 million per, which is what they did. 32 million, 33 million per, I believe is what it averages out to. I'm not a fan of the deal. I think they overpaid for him. If you want my full reaction, you can get it over at wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube. All of our stuff is there. You can grab it for free. So tons of stuff from today. We'll be tomorrow in studio. Terrio's back for the Riot Radio Hours. We'll look forward to putting a button on the week with a fun Friday show. Final Friday before LSU hits the practice field. The Tigers will hit the practice field for the first time in fall camp next Wednesday. So when they do, of course, we'll have it all covered. All right, we'll do it for us here. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Little delayed reaction. As we get on down the road, we remind you about First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. It doesn't really matter what kind of land you're looking to buy, either for what purpose. Maybe it's land that you want to hold on to as an investment. I mean, a lot of people around tax season, you start thinking about, okay, maybe you need, look, if as a landowner, you're going to incur expenses. That could be good as far as your tax component. Talk to your CPA and see if owning land is a worthy investment for you or could help you with your tax bill. Maybe you want that recreational property. You work hard. You want to be able to escape to it. Maybe you want to hunt on your own property instead of someone else's property. First South Farm Credit can make that happen. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor of the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.